There are a lot of mysteries in life. Who ate all my snacks? Why are women not impressed by my juggling? And what's a unique ancestry that I can bring to my next TTRPG game night? The answer to those questions are, I ate my snacks. They are impressed, but you should have a wide variety of hobbies and interests. And you can find unique ancestries with Battlezoo and their Year of Mysteries. Every month in 2026, Battlezoo delivers a fresh, bizarre, and lovingly unhinged ancestry straight to your inbox. Get ready to spice up your D&D or Pathfinder game faster than a wizard's bad life choices. Why settle for elves again when you can play as 13 unique and bizarre ancestries, such as a grumpy Sasquatch, a sea serpent with anger issues, or a dinosaur person, a guy ceratops, a girlosiraptor, a human saurus rex. You don't have to use any of these names, but you do get to play as a dinosaur with a great sword, and that seems awesome.
But Jack, this is the Year of Mysteries, so let's get mysterious. With each new ancestry, every month you'll also find a puzzle. Solve each and input the solution at battlezoo.com to slowly reveal the year-long secret and become a seeker of mysteries. There's a leaderboard for puzzle solvers, and if you solve all 12, you'll earn a free prize as you unlock the final truth, as well as one last secret you can add to your games. What could it be? The color of my underpants?
Mine have pictures of fish on them. Head on over to yearofmysteries.com and start uncovering the clues today.
I can juggle for a long time.
It's time for Roll for Combat.
Hello. We are live. It says we have 3 viewers. Yay! 3 viewers. I think we have more than that. Anyhow.
I see 42, Steven. I think your thing is glitched.
Well, I'm on YouTube, so I guess YouTube. Oh, it's up. Now it's up. It just took a second to refresh. So it's just us. Derek is off doing whatever. We'll probably have the guys from Dolanwood on maybe next week. I don't know. We're gonna do some stuff. Also, we had corporate earnings, and it's been 1 year since D&D came out, 2024. It's been like 53 weeks, I believe it is. And more importantly, there's actually a ton of news that happened in the world of D&D. There was actually quite a bit, and we'll go into most of it. But before we get into that, if you have any questions, make sure you super chat and we will answer them, because this is going to be one of our deep into the numbers and into the maths and into the lore of finance, I call it, of Hasbro and D&D. We used to do a lot of these, and now we kind of mix them in. But this was a big one because it's been a year and some interesting things happened, and the corporate report came out, and they mentioned D&D, but they mentioned it in a really, really weird way. So we're going to explain that. So the first thing I want to say is that during these corporate reports and during these conference calls, it's against the law for them to lie. So they have to be as transparent as possible. But the problem is that in this world, it's getting harder and harder to become transparent. In the old days, we had things like Nelson numbers, and then we had, you could see how much movies were making in the box office. And there was literally companies that would go to stores and record stores, bookstores, and find out exactly how well things did. And then you would actually subscribe to these reports and use them. So now the big problem is that everything's private, and we have things like Netflix, and we have things like Disney Plus, and now we have D&D Beyond, where we have no idea. We couldn't even guess how well anything is doing because they don't report it. They don't tell us how well things are doing. We don't know exactly how many movies are being watched on Netflix. They tell us, but they're very vague on what they report, and there's nothing making them report, exactly how well things do. And we're going to get into also what these report means, which is another part of this whole aspect. So where I'm going with this is that recently in the last earnings call, there was a couple of things. I'm not going to bring up the actual report, but one thing that's kind of stunning is if you go through the numbers, they're now making, they being Hasbro, is basically making money on one thing, maybe one and a half. They're making all of their money on Magic, and that's it.
And then some Monopoly Go.
And
I
Monopoly Go.
I looked at the numbers myself so I could talk in an informed way about it. They made a decent amount, but Magic was way more than Monopoly Go because it's just their royalties on Monopoly Go.
Yeah.
But Magic is where it's at for them in like just about all of their numbers. In fact, what I saw from that quarterly report is that they were using Magic to prop up other numbers. Magic legitimately did extremely well in this report. It just did. It was up like 40 some % since last year. That should be something that the Magic team takes some congratulations on. They got the Final Fantasy. They've got a lot of other strong things that came out. But then what they did was, instead of being like, this is Magic that went up 40 some %, this is the other tabletop games, which actually went up 0, including D&D, even though last year was the year 2024. Hadn't been released until like 10 days at the end because they do it until September 27th or something like that. They didn't do that. They did. Magic went up 44%. All tabletop games went up 24% or something like that. Well, guess what? Do you know why all of them went up 24% and Magic went up 44%? It was all Magic. It just got diluted when you combined it into the all games, right? They just presented the data in a way where it looked like it was great for both categories, but it really wasn't. It was just Magic was so good that even when you combined it in with the other stuff that didn't improve, it looked like the whole category improved.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you take off the profit, which is, if I'm not bringing it up, but it's like how much it makes, and then you take the losses, and the actual games, physical games, was negative. I think it was like 730. I don't know if you have the number in front of you. It's like 730 million. Like they lost tons of money. They lost so much money on all their physical items. And if you take the actual profit, Magic was something like 130%. It was making all the money, and then you take off the negative money that everyone else is making, and that's the company. Like if there was no Magic, Hasbro would be out of business. Like seriously, they would be out of business. And it is kind of stunning because it makes sense. Also, the profit margin on Magic was like 40%. And let me tell you, if you have, in the old days, having a profit margin of like 3 to 5% was considered good. Having a profit margin of 8 to 10% is considered insane. That's considered like an absolute insane amount of money. Magic is making 40%, which is just like, and be honest, that's also why we have $1 trillion valuations for software companies, is because they can make, these insane profit margins of 50, 100, 200% on their investments. You don't have to actually physically make something and then sell something. Physically, yes, they're making Magic cards, but they're paper and images. They're pretty cheap to make, and they're pretty cheap to design. Actually, let me rephrase that. They're really cheap to make and design compared to a physical toy. They're also small. They're easy to transport. I mean, I can go on and on about Magic cards. But then we have Magic Online, which is just printing money and is making more money every quarter forever.
So, Steven, I found the numbers.
Okay.
And you were you were not kidding. I believe this is in millions. So Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming together, which does have Magic in it. It combines D&D. We can't see which one was which, but we kind of know when they split it out that it's mostly Magic.
I mean, I can bring it up.
They made 700, it says in the period that they're measuring here, made 723.3 million. The total company made, it looks like, in profit.
I'll bring it up.
That was in as reported. And as reported for the company was negative 286.
We'll have here.
That's because consumer products was negative 993. Entertainment was plus 2.6. and corporate and other was negative 18.9.
Well, I'm looking, if you look on page 9, it says right here, so it's 9 months. So their performance in 2025, you have Wizards of the Coast has made 1.5 billion.
Yes,
and then their
operating profit of
723 million.
Yes.
So that's a profit margin of 46%. Really? Okay, that's 46%. We're looking at page 9. I have this up for everyone to see this. Then you take in consumer products. So consumer products, that's like toys, 1.6 billion and a loss of $993 million.
Right. Now, Stephen, I need some help from you on this.
Yes.
What is the non-GAAP generally accepted adjustments? Is that actual money they got that just can't be counted normally, or is it some kind of magic they can use to try to claim that their adjusted profit is a profit? Because supposedly the non-GAAP adjustments for consumer products is slightly higher than the negative 993, so they made a tiny amount of money.
They're doing write-offs. They're lumping the write-offs into the consumer products.
Things. Okay.
They're doing write-offs in consumer products. They're doing it on purpose because consumer products have physical. This is the one thing. So if you have physical properties, you can write them off over time. But with digital properties, I mean, you can write off computers, but there's nothing to really write off with digital properties. There's no manufacturing. There's no, in fact, that's why so many of these AI companies are racing to build their own power plants, because not only can they get their own power and they don't have to worry about, they're completely self-sufficient. They become like their own little countries and governments, but then they can write off billions and hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue for building a power plant. So they love it. They're like, ooh, we finally have something physical we can write off, because they usually don't have anything physical to write
Even
off.
I think that what that means is, and tell me if I'm right,
Mm-hmm.
the consumer products lost $993 million, but produced enough tax write-offs to write off 1.05 billion. So therefore,
they're not paying taxes. That's basically.
Therefore, it actually had more write-offs than the amount that it lost, and it gave them a small amount of net profit in the end.
Yeah, they basically do this. All companies do this. They move around things that they never make money, and then they never pay taxes. It's completely legal. It's just how our system works. And it's just, when you read it, the things that you really should read is not so much, how much they're making, but this is the revenue. Like, this is what they're selling. And you can see Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming made almost as much as everything else. Entertainment is 61 million, and then they have corporate and other, which they don't even really count.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Wizards, not only that, like, Wizards made way more, like, they made the only profit, and even if you count the write-offs as revenue for the other, or as like a net profit for the other ones, Wizards still made 7/8 of it for Hasbro.
Yeah.
7/8.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's counting the write-offs, not the actual losses.
I forgot to show Mark. Hey, Mark. Oh, let's put Mark on the screen. Hey, Mark. We forgot to show you.
They can still hear me, though. Hopefully.
Oh, yes, they can hear you. I think so. I think they can hear you. You guys can hear Mark, right? All right. As long as we can hear you. Let me move you down. Sorry. I got a new computer, and I forgot to do this because I was a little late to hooking up Mark onto the stream. There we go.
No worries.
So there we go. So we're tiny little boxes on the screen.
So Wizards is doing great, basically because of Magic.
But Wizards is great. Wizard and Magic is holding up the entire company, and I don't mean it's like people will be like, "Oh, not really." No, like that's their company. That's all they are. Like, that's all they are. And in fact, here's an entire slide of Magic the Gathering. And in fact, if you look at it, they keep losing more and more money every year. Now, this isn't even a bad thing. Okay, this happens. This is just how the world works. There used to be this thing called cassette tapes and records and 8-tracks, and then they went to CDs, and then they went to streaming. Like, things change. And right now, toys don't really exist. There's no Toys R Us. The only place you can physically buy toys is really Target and Walmart, and that's it, and Amazon, of course. But kids just don't buy toys because kids, their number one toy, And we've said it a trillion times. It's the iPhone. It's the iPad. That's their toy.
And my nephews just barely want toys.
They don't want toys. They don't need toys. They don't want them. They just want an iPad. That's all they want.
Maybe little plushies since they're very young.
Yes.
But not like the kinds of like action figures and dolls and things that people used to buy back in the day.
Yeah. So the main thing is that, that's just the way the industry is going. And they're moving digital. And by the way, I'd like to probably bring up Mattel. I'm not going to do it now, but I'd be curious to compare this to Mattel, because Hasbro and Mattel are the two big ones. So we have Mattel here, and Mattel is probably going through the exact same problems. Although I'm curious to see how they're weathering it, because they don't have Magic the Gathering, and I don't know what digital products Mattel really has.
George pointing out Lego is still doing well, but I think that's because Lego is now selling extremely expensive sets to adults.
Lego, I can do an
really
entire.
smart.
Okay, there's 1,000 videos on the resurgence of Lego and how Lego went almost out of business, literally almost out of business, to becoming a huge brand again. And it really comes down to a few things. It comes down to licensed products. Star Wars and Harry Potter are pretty much the two big ones. It comes down to licensed properties.
You mean like Magic, which also got a lot of money from the licensing with Final Fantasy?
We're getting to that. We're going to get to that because I have that slide up right now showing all the new licensed products that Magic's coming out with, because that's all they're going to be doing going forward pretty much. And the other thing is they were making a lot of money from the video games. That's kind of slowed down. They're not doing nearly as well. But adult Lego people, I forgot what they're called, but the people who will spend $1,000 on a Lego set
to get a really cool one. Yeah, that's huge for them. If they were only selling those small, cheap ones for kids still, they would be gone. But they were really smart. They came up with a successful business model.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have come up with that if I was in charge of Lego.
Endless videos on this. If you go into YouTube, and there's a lot. It's actually well documented how they turned everything around. Anyhow, and they also reduced the number of different types of Lego pieces. I won't get into it. There's a lot. But Magic is this is what happens though, because this is the only thing holding up the company, and they're making so much money from these licensed properties that they're just going all in. I mean, that's all you see is licensed property. I mean, they're coming out with a licensed property for like The Office. I saw they're coming out with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They got Marvel more. They got The Hobbit. They got Star Trek. They got Avatar. I mean,
some of the licensed sets were some of the best sellers of all time for them. And the Final Fantasy set is supposedly really good in terms of mechanics, in addition to being licensed.
I know,
like,
it's unbelievable.
What's not to love for the corporate execs in doing that strategy? Because their creators in the company made a great product that is just legitimately would have been good without Final Fantasy. It also had Final Fantasy, and then a lot of people bought it. Like, that seems like a win-win-win for like most people, other than people, I guess, who just don't like seeing the licensed products in there. But I feel like that's fine.
Yes. Well, let's go through a couple of. There's actually a point to all of this. So this is just the window dressing. This is just let's just get this out of the way. Now I'm going to go into the actual details, the nitty gritty, because we're going to go into D&D. And this will take a second. Just take a little while. So let me just explain what's going on with D&D. So as we all know, D&D 2024 came out about 53 weeks ago. The Player's Handbook came out. It's been out for a full year. And during the conference call, they said something very interesting. Sorry, I think I want to get the exact wording. The exact wording was they asked how D&D was doing, and they were saying the exact quote was, "The core rule books are off to the strongest start ever." Here it is. The refreshed 2024 editions of D&D Monsters Manual, Player's Handbook, and DM's Guide are off to the strongest ever start for D&D books. D&D Beyond's new accessible virtual tabletop has driven weekly traffic up nearly 50% since its September launch. Now, wait, I'm going to go back. Let's go through a few things that happened this week. First of all, Sigil was officially shut down. Sigil
I saw that.
is getting shut down. So
that's not a surprise. Like,
no, but
it was basically in hospice.
Oh, no. But it's officially getting shut down. And Sigil, by estimations, costs multiple tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, that thing was ridiculously expensive. And I went through how expensive it was. I remember when we saw the beta, and I was like, this looks great, except for the problem is you have to build all these monsters, and building 3D replicas of every single monster and putting it is a huge amount of work. And remember, within the 1 year that I saw it, and then they launched it, they added pretty much no models, because that's exactly what happened. Is they go, okay, we have 1,000 monsters. Each monster takes maybe 50 to 100 hours to build and test. How many man years is that? That's like 100 man years to build out just, the monster manual? Yeah, maybe this was not such a good idea. Okay, there's a reason why video games have the same monster over and over again, and then they just like add a color to them, or they add like a different hat or something, because it's insanely tough to make these models. It's ridiculously hard, and it takes a huge amount of time to make these models. So it's not a surprise. The other surprise is that their maps has beyond taken off, and maps, the polar opposite, is a VTT that is just a 2D map.
Yeah, it's bare bones. They just quietly released it at one point.
And they didn't even announce it.
People want. It's no fuss.
Yeah.
If you want something more than that, there are options that are out there.
Yes.
And you know what? Sigil could have been, you liked it when you did the demo. It could have been something people wanted.
Right.
It just took hundreds of thousands of person hours to actually do it.
Yeah. It's just too hard. And more importantly, they thought, they're like, okay, we got to come up with a digital subscription service. And that's really this is really where all going down to. It's like they have to figure out a way to make money on D&D. And they have to make it a digital subscription. They have to make a subscription service. And here's the thing. D&D used to have a digital subscription service. Sorry, they used to have a subscription service. You know what it was called? It's called Dragon Magazine. And then it was called Dungeon Magazine. It was literally a subscription service where you literally subscribed. And Paizo still does it. You know why? It works. It does really well. Subscription services work great, by the way.
Yeah. Steven, I think we should find a way to do subscription services, but you know that. I say it all the time. It's too hard for
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm going to do I do subscription services.
If we do it right, it can be good for help people who want to subscribe to get into it. And it's just good for us because we can predict what's going to happen month by month. And by virtue of being able to do that, they can sometimes let us do things like lower prices, increase the amount of stuff we put in because we can predict it.
Well, we are doing Year of Mysteries. And basically the Year of Monsters, year
close
of
to a subscription,
Legends.
but we just can't do it as a subscription.
They're not really subscriptions,
but
right?
If we did, so many people, Steven, would subscribe for just $4.99 a month. They'd be like, sign me up. But if you're like $60, they're like, I don't know.
This is the part where I say the books are going away. Now, the books are not going away. I never said the books are going away. That's like saying Netflix is taking over movie theaters going away. They're not going away. They're still going to be there. But that's not where they're going to make their money. Okay. The books are never going away, but we're going to look at some numbers. I'm going to get into it. Don't worry. We're getting there. I'm going to look at the numbers and show you how much it's sold and compare based on what I have, the information I have. So
give us those numbers, Steven. And I'm going to say that I'm definitely going to, okay. I'm going to be skeptical of any number amount that Wizards puts in that says that this launch is super huge just based on the numbers.
No, they're saying it's huge.
Well, but hold on. But Steven, based on the numbers they themselves shared in this investor report, indicate that the amount of total money, unless they're saying that the part that wasn't D&D and other Hasbro games like tanked into the trash can. The amount of D&D and other Hasbro games from before and after the launch year were equal. Like they weren't exactly equal, but they were like eerily close to each other. They barely changed at all. So if the launch was like record breaking, it should have at least sold more than a year that was kind of moribund when, those are usually the worst. I've been at game companies. The year before your new edition comes out, is not a good time. Your sales go down
No,
usually.
So we'll get back to that. So maps, which is so easy to program. Okay. I mean, I could program that. I'm not boasting. It's literally that easy. It is incredibly simple, that type of program to do. I mean, I do run a digital, marketing company, so I could do it. But the point is, it's really easy. Maps was so easy to do. It's such a simple product, and they love it. They're going all in on maps, which is just fascinating that they were trying to do. And it just shows you how they really had the Microsoft video game people running the show and the Amazon people, because they were going for the splash. They were going for like this all-in, unbelievable, sexy, like fantastically gorgeous thing that no one else could emulate or do. Because here's the crazy part. Because maps is so easy, I could have been, if I was in those meetings, I already know what they would be saying. It's like, well, why would we do something that simple? Because anyone else can do that. And in fact, a lot of other companies do that. So why would they use ours? No, we have to make ours different so that ours is better and the best VTT. Because if you look at maps, man, it is not only very basic. This might be the most basic VTT out there. They went the other way. But that's the thing, is that simple sells, baby. I could go into that. Oh my God. I don't want you to get into like simple sells. It sells more than you can imagine. And it's actually very hard to make something simple. It looks easy, but it's a real simple system. And they can take all their existing products, all their flat 2D maps, which they have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of, and just throw them in there and sell them. I mean, they have a library of insane library of maps. And also making maps is easy. It's so easy to make a 2D map. I'm not saying it's easy, but compared to a 3D full render map with lighting and special effects, I mean, forget it. It's like, no, it's completely different. Anyhow, I could program maps in a cave. Yes, I'm Tony Stark. It actually really is easy to program. So anyhow,
Steven probably could do it in a cave. I'm sure he has a background in spelunking that we've never heard about until now that would allow him
I actually
to
don't
do this.
I've done spelunking. I don't love spelunking. It freaks me out. I've actually been in really big caves underground, and it just freaks me out to be in those caves. But I do feel like I'm in Minecraft when I go caving. I'm like, ooh, it's like Minecraft. So next up, something else that's interesting happened. So Sigil was canceled, but the other really big news is that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Dragonlance people. Okay, so people don't know that Joe Manganiello, I can't pronounce his last name. No one can. He is a super fan. He loves D&D and he loves Dragonlance. He's been trying to do a Dragonlance show forever. He's written scripts. He tried to buy it. He's tried to get, you can look at him up. He loves it. He loves it. He loves it. He is the biggest Dragonlance fan on planet Earth. And him and Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss were all invited last week to Wizards of the Coast. And there's a picture of them saying that they're back. And Joe is wearing his Dragonlance shirt. And that's big news because they tried to release Dragonlance 2 years ago. The venture was terrible. No one bought it. They tried to release a board game to go along with the adventure that I think was $100. That was terrible. I ended up seeing them in Ollie's for $9.99. This $100 board game in Ollie's, and no one was buying it. Okay, no one was buying this Dragonlance board game. And they even had new Dragonlance novels that came out. I didn't hear anything about them. Like, Dragonlance was a really big deal. So it's fascinating that they're bringing back Dragonlance because now it's something that they own, and they own 100%. They don't have to go out, and it makes sense for them to bring something else in, and that they actually have Hollywood representation and someone pretty popular in Hollywood who can make it a big deal. By the way, yeah, what Watsy didn't promote the Dragonlance novels. Yeah, you know what? You're right, because they are under the assumption, and this, by the way, is very common in Hollywood, that it's just name recognition will sell. We'll just say we're coming out with Dragonlance. we'll just tell everyone and they'll go buy it. But that's just not how this world works anymore. It really isn't. Okay. It's just, you can't just come out with something. The people will not find you. Okay. You have to lead them to you. But of all the things that were announced, the most interesting one of all, by far, which probably went under the radar, I actually was saying this to our good friend. I kind of wish Derek was on the show, because I said, did you see that announcement of K-pop Demon Hunters, signing with Hasbro? And he goes, what's K-pop Demon Hunters?
Wait, he didn't know what K-pop Demon Hunters were?
So K-pop Demon Hunters. So if you don't know what it is, and you've been sleeping under a rock, under a stone, under a bridge, under the earth, it's the most popular movie in the history of Netflix ever. It actually was made by the same company that did the Spider-Man movie. And it was sold, I think it was Sony who made it, and they sold it for nothing. They sold it to Netflix because they didn't want to release it for like 10 million or something, some ridiculously low number. And Netflix put it out. It is going to be, it's beyond huge. It's beyond. And it's one of those once in a generation, absolutely came out of nowhere smash hits. This happened with E.T. I remember when E.T. came out, no one expected that thing to do well. And it was such a big hit that everyone had to scramble because there was no marketing, no tie-ins, nothing. So they had to scramble to go crazy to quickly make stuff. And K-pop Demon Hunter, same thing. Nothing. It was just a movie that's coming out. Now, it's like the '1 costume for Halloween by far. It's '1 movie in the history of Netflix. It is... my daughter, she's a teacher for 5th grade, and I saw the movie. The movie's pretty good, actually, for what it is. It's a fun movie. The animation's gorgeous, by the way. The songs are catchy. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I asked her, I said, oh, did you see K-pop Demon Hunters? And she's like, oh my God. It's like, if I hear that one more time, I'm like, why? It's like, oh, my 5th graders, that's all they talk about. That's all they talk about. And I've been hearing that is that kids, really young kids, love it. Love it, love it, love it. College kids love it. Everyone loves it. But I'm just said the key point there is that 10-year-olds, kindergartners, okay, she also does kindergartners love K-pop Demon Hunters. And if I'm an executive at one of these places and I'm looking at those key demographics and I'm seeing K-pop Demon Hunters, key demographics are little kids. Oh my God, the dollar signs never stop because you're like, this will print money on top of money that then prints more money. Like that is just a money-making machine. How big of a money-making machine? That Netflix signed a deal with Hasbro and Mattel. The first time ever that they're doing a co-master toy license. They're working together to bring K-pop Demon Hunters into the world of, you better believe it, Magic the Gathering. But they also are going to bring out, are you ready? A TTRPG based on K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, Mark, would you bring out a K-pop Demon Hunter TTRPG on its own? Would you license it to another company to do for you? Or, and here we go, here's the beginning of the end, if you will. Will you co-brand it and make K-pop Demon Hunters, which already has a fantasy element, and bring it into the world of D&D? I am saying 80% chance they're going to make it Universes Beyond, or that's going to be their first official. If you're going to start a Universals Beyond for D&D, just like they did for Magic, this is the best one to do it for. It really fits well. It's so popular, and they can bring in little kids. They can bring in kids to D&D, not high school students, not college kids, actual kids, especially because Netflix, Stranger Things last season, Like, this is such a golden opportunity. Heck, I'd say do both. Have your own standalone game and bring out a D&D version. But
So,
not just...
Steven, I'm going to make my prediction.
Okay.
My prediction is that all of us prognosticators are going to be completely wrong about what they're going to do for the tabletop RPG for K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm basing this off of their baffling move with the G.I. Joe and Power Rangers and etc. RPGs, where they just licensed it out to another company and did not do anything with D&D when they did that.
Yeah, well, that is an option.
That.
I don't.
When
Renegade.
they gave it to Renegade,
They're not going to do that. There's no way they're giving it to Renegade. No way. Zero chance.
Someone in chat also said that they might do that. I doubt that they
Zero.
will. So
Zero.
I think that means that whatever decision-making process caused them to give it to Renegade last time,
tell you why.
caused them to do some weird, chaotic thing that no one on these shows predicts this time as well.
I'm going to tell you why. They're not going to do it because these licensing deals are very strict. They license their own properties to Renegade. This is actually Netflix licensing it. There's no way they're
they have it from
not
Netflix.
doing it.
I see.
They're not doing it. So
they have to do it in-house.
They have to do it in-house.
Okay, well, at that point, it would be outrageous for them not to give it to their department that makes tabletop role-playing games,
Correct.
Wizards of the Coast.
Correct.
In which case, I'm going to predict that they will not give it to their department that makes role-playing games, Wizards of the Coast, because
that makes too much sense.
The only thing I know about Hasbro's upper executives is that I can't understand why they make the decisions they do. And it's, yes, like you said, Steven, it makes too much sense to use the experts that they already have at their company to do this. And so they won't. That's my prediction. I know it's I'm going for the outside margin, but if people come back to this video and I turn out to be right, we're all going to have a chuckle about it later on. I hope they do give it to Wizards and to the people. I hope they give it to the people on the D&D team who are excited to work on K-pop Demon Hunter and not like strong-armed into doing it when they wanted to do something else. And because I think those people will do an amazing job.
I have one better. No, Hasbro does not own Renegade. Renegade's its own company. I have a prediction. Okay, Wizards of the Coast. I know you watch this. All right, I know for a fact you guys watch this stream. I know. Give it to us. I'm serious. Like, give it to people who know TTRPGs.
They can't. You just said they can't give it to anybody.
They can license it to an internal development company. This they can do. They can't give it to, okay, let me rephrase this. They can give it to Renegade to develop, but it has to be published by Hasbro.
Okay.
So that they can do. But the problem with that is it'll probably cost too much. But if they bring in experts, and this happens all the time. This happens constantly. They always, I mean, that's how Paizo works. That's how we work. That's how most companies work. They can bring in an outside firm or an outside company to develop it. Hell, that's how pretty much D&D worked for the first 5-6 years. They didn't develop anything. They just brought in Cobalt. Give something like that to us or someone like us, because I can kick the shit out of that thing, man. Well, both of us, that'd be great to do.
Here would be another good proposal. If they're like, nah, we don't want to give it to Steven. This is a good scenario. I don't think that the corporate executives are going to choose to do this.
Yes.
But if they leverage the fact that they have some ex-Paizo people who are now at Wizards who have connections with some of the great authors who wrote the Tian Shaw World Guide for Pathfinder, that actually had a bunch of experts on Korean lore wrote some of the sections.
We'll bring in Sen HHS. We'll bring in Yvette. I'm bringing all those people.
She's an expert in all of, I think, Asian history, but it's from Taiwan specifically. But they would have and would have contact with a bunch of people who are experts in Korean lore. And I actually have contact with them too, but some of their own people in Wizards do, and could bring in people who could really knock the ball out of the park.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's actually It's if you do it for the D&D system, it's not that bad. It's not that hard. And you know who does this? Free League. Free Leagues are experts at this because all their licensed games run on their own engine. So what I'm really proposing sounds crazy at first, but it's not really. You know, I mean, everyone's going to go crazy. They're like, oh my God, K-pop demon hunters, how dare they? They're ruining D&D. I could already see all the videos of everyone saying how much they're ruining D&D, and they're going to laugh all the way to the bank because that thing is going to make so much money. It is.
You know what, Steven? I have one difference in my prediction.
Yeah.
You're going to have some people saying that, and you're going to have other people who are saying, why did they make this new RPG D&D? They could have made a new bespoke RPG that was specifically good at telling the stories of K-pop demon hunters instead of being D&D. And then they will still laugh all the way to the bank, just like you said.
No,
they just will have two different groups of people who don't like the decision for different reasons.
No, they see. What they do is they hire an outside firm who can develop it fast. That's the other problem, is that it's going to take them, if they do it internally, it's going to take them 2 to 3 years. That's actually the biggest problem. If they hire someone like us, if I had to, and we had to go all out, and I've done things like this for other companies, I have other stories that I've never told you, Mark, but I basically had something where I had to, it was a training, quick diversion. It was training videos on finance, and they were using this weird technology that no one used. And they hired me to take 1,000 interactive training videos and convert it to Flash. And I was like, how do we do this? And wait, are you ready? 8 weeks. 8 weeks to do this, right? And I'm like, how on earth are we going to do this? And I was trying to think of this way to do it being cheap. And my VP, Tara, said to me, Steve, no. We go the other way. You got to go all out, man. All out. And I'm like, God damn, you're right. So I literally got an office. I bought 20 computers. I hired this guy who was Tom, who was an expert. We hired 20 full-time Flash designers. And I'm just like, here's your computers. Here, go. And they just were
each have 50.
Ranking. They were
20 people doing 50 is just way easier to make it work than one person doing 1,000.
We were early. We did it. We cranked. Same thing. It's like if we had to, and I mean, I would drop stuff and we would crack and crank.
And Glade Ribbon pointed out fast, cheap, good, pick 2, and that's exactly right. In this case, Steven didn't pick
It was not cheap. It was. I made a mint. Let me put it that way. It was not cheap, but it got done and it was good. It was beautiful. It was actually really fascinating. But I learned something that day of like, if you really need to ramp up, you can, if necessary. But you need to get paid to do it. That's the other problem. Knocking out in 6 months. Oh, could we do K-pop demon hunters as part of D&D in 6 months? Hell yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say. I don't think it would be easy.
I would put a caveat on that on that note. I'm putting a pin on that.
Oh, not to have it published, but I could have it come out. From the point where they send in the
contract to the point where the book is printed and in everyone's hands, it would take more than that.
It would take more than 6 months. But by next Christmas, we can get it done.
To be shipped over the ocean takes a significant percentage of that.
They wouldn't do it over the ocean. I know what they would do.
Oh, you mean they would do it in the United States?
Yes, they would do it in the United States, and they would have the print. It's called I forgot what it's called. There's a terminology. Oh, I forgot the term. It's not time to target. It's like time to target, but for marketing, where they have everything prepped and ready to go, and then literally it's like go, and they print it immediately. So it's like it's done within like 2 weeks. It's done very fast. Yeah, you can do it. Trust me.
And the art would be tricky too if you wanted to make sure it kept maintained a consistent style for K-pop Demon Hunter. But I think you could manage it, Steven. Having seen what you've done,
that's the least of my problem. I can do the art stuff. But also, it wouldn't be just us. So, like, if we got a contract like that, we'd go up to like 20 people quickly of freelancers, and we do exactly what I just described. I'm like, all right, time to ramp up to get that done. anyhow, I'm being a little jokey here, kind of. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. But the point is that that's the way you do it. Like, that's what you do.
The point is that they probably will make a lot of money from that.
Oh, they're going to make a fortune. And they put it on D&D Beyond. And suddenly, that's what you call cross-promotion, baby. Or you call synergy. Or a million other things. People have been doing this since the beginning of time. And, oh boy, what? Or you can call it a gateway drug, or
because think about this: if you need D&D Beyond maps to play K-pop Demon Hunter on the map, and just the same kind of interface, then they're on that marketplace looking at things. Even if some people never buy anything from that, the sheer exposure to it could cause someone to be like, I don't know what this stuff is, but that piece of art looks really cool. I know it's not K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm gonna click on it to see more. That's what they want. Yeah. They want people coming into their garden, their walled garden.
People are asking if we can knock out digital in 6 months. Have you looked behind us? Do you see how many books market I do?
We could definitely do that in 6 months if we needed to.
It wouldn't even digital would not even be a problem.
The main issue for us in that regard would be just that our other plans would get delayed.
It would mess up other plans.
Because if we're doing something that's that big,
I actually have I have even backups for that, because I'm actually way ahead. Both of us are. I'm actually so ahead on schedule.
I'm not saying that the current things that we promised would necessarily be that delayed. I mean, our plans to release more future things would get delayed for that.
That would all be delayed. But I don't think it would affect our current schedule. But the point is that if you really want to get it done, you want to get experts in the field who know what they're doing, who also are creative, because now you're not like having to deal with actual, like the day-to-day politics of Hasbro and Mattel. And knows how to work with billion-dollar brands. I happen to do this thing called Harry Potter. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I did their website. I did their marketing. Timon and Pumbaa, Little Bill, everything for Nickelodeon. I've worked with billion-dollar brands. This is like nothing. Okay. I'm literally half kidding here, but I'm half being serious. Like, this is how you do it. Okay. If they're going to do it, this is how you do it.
So fair enough. That's a good pitch.
Yeah.
We talked about K-pop Demon Hunters as a potential moving forward, but Steven,
yes,
you said you were going to give us some more numbers, not just the ones from the investor report, for the current year-to-date 1 year sales for the new edition.
All right,
and
so
I want to find out, how can they say this was record-breaking when it didn't even increase the sales from before the edition was launched?
Okay, so I'm bringing this up. This is the BookScan data. Now, BookScan. And now let's caveat this. Now, BookScan back in 2014. So this is the initial book. So let's go back to the year 2014. Digital did not exist. Not really. They never even cared about digital. There was no official PDFs. They didn't really have. It didn't exist. The only way they sold D&D books was in physical bookstores. Now, supposedly, BookScan represents about 85% of the market. And I think it's pretty accurate for back in 2014. Back then, it's pretty darn accurate. Now, am I saying it's going to be 100%? No, but a margin of error of 15%, I think, is more than sufficient. So this is 1 year. So in 1 year, it's a little hard to read, but D&D sold the Player's Handbook. So I'm doing it starts here in August 23rd, 2014, and it goes all the way here to August 22nd, 2015. So the D&D Player's Handbook sold, I gotta take my glasses out, it's so tiny, 129,000 units. The Dungeon Master's Guide, which is right here in yellow, sold 75,000 units. And the Monster Manual, which came out, actually the Monster Manual came out first, and then the DM's Guide. So fascinating. You see right here, the red one's the Monster Manual. The Monster Manual sold 72,000 units. So we have 129,000, 75, and 72.
Okay.
Now, let's go to...
Now we're in the future, when COVID happened and digital is way up. So what are we seeing on BookScan?
Now on BookScan. Now let's go forward to today, where D&D isn't really getting sold in stores anymore. And they purposely are doing that because they're trying to get more profit. So they don't have Penguin as a distributor anymore. There's not as many bookstores as there used to be. And more importantly, they're trying to reclassify them from books to games. Have you noticed that's why there's so many box sets? I won't get into it, but it really has to do...
It's bad for tariffs, but it's good for returns, right?
Correct. So the problem is it's bad for tariffs, but it's good for returns because you can return books. Okay. It's the bane of booksellers' existences. It's that a company can buy from you 1,000 books, sell 10 of them, and then they literally ask you, they say, hey, we have 990 books left.
Will you pay for shipping, or should we slash them up?
Or should we destroy them?
It's like they're literally like holding them hostage for the shipping money, more or less.
Yeah.
It's as someone who loves books, it's really sad.
It sucks.
Like it hurts me a little to feel like that they're ripping up these books when you can't pay to get them back. Yes.
So that's why they've been remarketing it, because if it's sold as a game, games are bought and they can't resell. They can't return them. So there's a lot of reasons why they've been changing the classification. But they still do have books, and they're still selling books. So let's look at these numbers, shall we? So in 1 year, we have, these numbers are kind of stunning. The Player's Handbook has sold 51,000 units.
Okay.
The Dungeon Master's Guide has sold
less than half.
Now these numbers were just updated, so my numbers, they went just a smidge over 100,000, just a smidge. They're up to let's see, Dungeon Master's Guide, 27,983. We'll say 28,000. 28,000.
Okay. So that one's more like a third. It's a little over a third.
And the Monster Manual, 18,000 copies.
That one went down by the most. I'm actually surprised. I know it was missing lore, which I would have liked to have, but the art and stuff in the Monster Manual was really good.
Let me tell you something. These numbers are so low.
That's like 25% of that. Now,
well, not only that, Shadowdark
this is only the physical books that they've been going down on, of course.
Yeah, I know, but the point is,
Monster Manual go down by more than the other two?
Well, because if you're only going to buy one book, you're going to buy the Player's Handbook.
Oh, no, I understand that.
But right.
I only took it as a proportion of the 2014 sales of the book.
Well, keep in mind, these did come out different times.
Maybe it's because the Monster Manual hasn't been out for
No, it hasn't been out. The Monster Manual came out February. It's only been out since February. So it's...
That's still 8 months.
I know.
Or almost 9.
I know. But the point is that, so using a apples-to-apples comparison, for the first year, D&D sold what's 130 plus 100.
130 plus 70 plus 70 is around 270.
Well, 75 to 72. So 130 plus 75 plus 72 is
it's the same thing with 7 afterwards. So it's about 247.
Yeah, so wait, 100.
Wait, no, it was more than that. You said it's 125.
Hold on, I'm just going to do the math real quick. I'm sure you guys already know this because you guys are better at math than me.
I just couldn't hear what you said.
25 plus 72. So 276,000. So 276,000 D&D books were sold in the first year, the core 3 for 2014. Now, again, this is only according to BookScan. We have no other numbers.
It doesn't count the online sales, the direct sales, any of that other stuff.
Nothing we can conclude. So now we have 100,000 copies. That's it. Sold, according to BookScan. But yet they're saying this is the most successful of all time.
Or wait, did they say record breaking?
Well, they said it was
the word.
The exact term was. Sorry, I have too many windows open. The exact term.
They say successful. That just depends on what
the strongest start ever for D&D books.
Strongest start
ever for D&D, whatever the hell that means.
Oh, well, wait, hold on. Strongest start ever could just mean that at the very beginning it did well.
No,
and then
it didn't.
Went down.
Yeah,
right?
no, but it didn't. It didn't do nearly as well. In fact, it sold. No, it's not true because.
But we know that at least
it's
on
actually
BookScan
not true.
It didn't. But BookScan is just BookScan. What other data do you have?
Well, I'm going to bring up something else. So let me ask you, Mark.
Okay.
How How much of a movie do you think? Let me rephrase this. How much of a book do you have to read before you said you read the book? Now, this sounds weird, but this is an actual thing you have to figure out. So, if you read 100% of the book, you obviously read the book.
Yes.
But what if you read 90% of the book? Did you read the book?
I would say I'm not quite finished reading the book.
What if I said 70%? Did you read the book?
I would say I did not finish reading that book. I'm still reading it.
As of right now, the commonly accepted number in the industry was if you did something 70%, that was considered complete. So up to recently, if you said that you read 70% of a book, they're like, he read the book. So you can mark that down as reading a book. Now, let's just do this with movies. So if you read a movie, you watched a movie, if you watched 50% of the movie, did you watch the movie?
I would say no.
Okay.
Right? I watched half the movie.
Right. What do you think?
mean, I don't know. I agree with Ken in chat. If you haven't finished it, you're not done.
No, but that's not what you say that, but that's not how they count it. So
okay,
Netflix,
that's how I count it.
No, but we're talking about what companies count it.
If you even open the movie up.
Wait. So what does Netflix count? How much of a movie is considered watched by Netflix? How much of a movie do you have to watch when they consider that it's counted as watched? What do you think it is? I'm going to say
like 1%. Just like you open it and clicked on it and went into the movie, and now they say it's watched.
It's slightly more. It's 2 minutes. So if you watch something for 2 minutes, you're counted as watch that movie.
The weird thing is it's actually slightly less if the movie is ridiculously long.
Correct.
Right? If the movie is more than 3 hours and 20 minutes, it's actually less than what I said.
Right. So, and someone actually points something out. Like, what about
I said 1% to just be a ridiculously low number, but it's close to correct.
Yeah, but what about like the Monster Manual? Like, no one reads 100% of the Monster Manual. No one reads 100% of the DMG, really.
But how many people?
But that's an easier. But let's
sometimes do read 100% of it. But
well,
how many people
you and I
go
are
around? I understand. How many people go around quoting statistics of being like, you know what I did? I just read the Monster Manual. I maybe do that, but almost like that's not. I've never heard people go around talking about having read the. I've heard them say they use the Monster Manual,
right?
Or they flip through the Monster Manual, but not like I read the whole Monster Manual just now. Only like really into it people, and maybe some of the people watching this stream are like me because several of them in chat also said they think 100% means that's what it means to finish a book.
The point I'm making is that it's very important because they're going to be using numbers like this going forward. Like, in other words, supposedly they have, I forgot how many subscribers, maybe we'll say 50 million subscribers for D&D Beyond. So if I'm on D&D Beyond, just because I have access to the player's handbook, does that count as me reading it? If I click on it even once and never even open it, but just does a click count as reading it? Does it count if I've looked at it for 5 minutes? Like, what is your engagement now? Like in the old days, it was simple. Did you buy the book? Yes. Okay, sales. That's easy. But now it's really hard because it's like, well, it's on a digital platform with subscribers. So at least with Netflix, they can say, okay, we have 100 million people who have watched this movie for 2 minutes or more. The thing is, Netflix knows. That's what drives me crazy. Netflix knows how many people have watched the movie to the second. Okay, they can say, okay, 100 million people watched the movie for 2 minutes or more, but only 10 million people finished the movie. If they wanted to, they can do that. It's very easy to track. But that's the thing, is that they're using all this weird vernacular of like, oh, it's most successful. What the hell does that mean?
Strongest start.
The strongest start. It means nothing.
Hold on. Someone in chat had a really good theory for this, Steven.
Let's
see what you think about this theory from chat. Their theory was that because there was a more robust pre-ordering system with a lot of pre-ordering incentives,
correct,
in 2024 than ever before.
You're right,
including digital pre-ordering. They could say it had the strongest start.
Yep.
Because in the first 2 seconds when the pre-orders went live and then everybody's money was taken and that they had gotten it, it sold more than any other edition.
No, you're 100%
Even if it
right.
didn't by the end of that day or whatever.
Yeah. No, in fact,
So
I
that would still be the strongest start, right?
Yeah, no. You get a hero point because that's 100% right.
Yeah, I think that
they
person
can
in
compare
China had
that.
a really good idea.
They can say it's 100% stronger than our last start because we had 0 pre-order. We're like, I mean, they actually did have pre-orders because
they used to have some, but they really did a big push for the pre-orders, even to the extent
I can actually figure out. Wait, I can figure out what the pre-orders were.
I can't even remember exactly how many different kind of pre-orders existed this last time because there were like 3 or 4 dates before the actual starting date.
Wait, I know what the 2014 because they can use the number of books that were pre-ordered by the bookstores.
But also remember that the ones they sold at Gen Con or other times like that could be counted as being sold before the first day.
Yes,
those early ones. And so then when they were like, by day 1, we sold X amount because they moved where the first day, official day was to be after multiple times that they sold.
So the very first week, it's not the first. So the first week, they sold 65,000 copies of the Player's Handbook, the DM, and the Monster Manual for 2014. So you figure pre-orders, we'll say maybe 80 to 100,000, probably 80, closer to 80,000 pre-orders. So, the bookstores had to order them and keep them in stock. But still, like, that's crazy is that D&D managed to 2016 sold more physical copies in the first 4 weeks of each of its releases than it sold in 1 year of 2024. Okay.
It just shows how strong they're shifting to digital. You're right.
Exactly.
It seems like that's your thesis. Is that
my thesis
things are
is
changing into a murky digital land where nobody can tell digital. What anything is.
Yeah. It's all digital. And in fact, just to bring it back, when we were just talking about us coming out with K-pop Demon Hunters, could we have this thing done in time for Christmas next year? If it's all digital? Hell yeah. We can come out with the game. We come out with adventures, multiple adventures, come out with monster manuals. We could come out with tons of support material. Could we have it in time to get into the stores? Probably not. Probably not.
That's a distribution question.
Probably not.
And especially given what happened to some of those distribution people, Cough Diamond.
Well, not only that, they keep missing. Hasbro keeps missing. They keep delaying things. They keep delaying their shipments by a week or two.
Yeah.
They're literally missing shipment dates, which is going through the cracks. And on top of that, the profit margin. I mean, I still can't believe everyone's going. Oh, I'm so angry. It drives me nuts. Everyone's like, the starter set is $50. The starter set is $50, $50, $50. If I hear $50 one more time, okay. I just went to get lunch today. Lunch was $20. Okay, I was like,
admittedly, New York is more expensive than some places.
But my point is,
food costs have been going up.
It's
and
$50.
These starter sets are usually loss leaders anyway.
I know, but that's what it
put
costs.
So much stuff in them.
Yeah, and not only that, they don't make $50. They make like $12. If that, you know what? They don't make anything. I guarantee that makes.
They might make zero.
They make zero or lose money on that starter set. They're not making a penny on that starter set. Okay.
They can write it off as a way to get people into the game.
Correct.
I know for a fact. I said they're lost leaders for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way things are. I hate to say it. And also the starter set 10 years ago was $30. I hate to break it to you. $30 10 years ago. That's $50 now. Okay. It's like, it's the same price. That's the crazy part. It's like, well, it was $30 back then. I'm like, yeah, well, $30 is $50 now. And I hate to say it. That's the way money works. Okay. It's like, I remember I used to go buy, now I feel like the old man. It's like, I used to be able to get lunch. I would get lunch. It would be for the Chinese restaurant with a soda for $5. It was $4.95. Now that's $20 for the same exact same meal. And it's not as big. And that's just the way, that's just pricing, man. That's just the way it is. Anyhow, they're all going digital. It's faster, it's easier, it's cheaper. The profit margins are phenomenal. They can track it however they want. They can promote it. They don't have to worry about distribution. They can do language transfers very easily. And they themselves, if you follow the rest of the call, they were going on about how they're really trying to pump up their digital presence. and how Maps is doing great. And in the very next sentence, they say D&D Beyond's new accessible virtual tabletop has driven weekly traffic up nearly 50% since the September launch. Like, for better or for worse, someone's like, books are going to die. No, I didn't say books are going to die. They're never going to die. But we're already here. Remember, I think we talked about this, what was that, 3 years ago, when I was saying they were going all in on digital, and then that prediction, well, it came and went, and we didn't even notice it. It basically just happened, and it's been happening so quietly in the background that no one even noticed it. But we're already here, and they're going to still come out with these physical books, but they're not selling. I mean, these numbers, you can't run $1 billion company selling 100,000 copies of a very expensive book to make and print and sell. I mean, they sell these, I'm looking for mine, they sell these for $50. Okay. You know how much these were 10 years ago? $50. Okay. It's the same price. Okay. So they're not making money on these things. They make pennies on these books. Okay. This is not where they're making their money. They're making all their money digitally. And they go off and say that. And they're happy they're making money digitally because they want to show, and they don't need as many people. I mean, they've been firing people left and right, and they don't need as many offices. I mean, the advantages are massive. And I wish we had other people on, because I'd be curious, what do you think of our digital future? Now, I know what I think of our digital future, because I don't know what your opinion is, Mark, but I've been all in on digital since day one, and you know that. So, like, I welcome our digital overlords and realize that is the future, for better or for worse. That doesn't mean I still don't make beautiful books, and I put a lot of money and effort into our books, but I also put a lot of money and effort into our digital products, because I realize that's where the future lies, and that's where people play, and it just is. It's not good or bad; it just is. It's I mean, I hate to say it. It's like, if I didn't have digital gaming, I wouldn't be playing with my friends. And we've been playing now 12 years online digitally. If that didn't happen, we would not be playing. I would not be playing Pathfinder every week. I would not be talking to my friends every week. We spend half of our session just chatting and being friends, and then the other half playing the game. And if it wasn't for being online, this wouldn't happen. And I'm not alone in this. This is like the whole world. There's a lot of downsides for this. That's getting kind of weird about like how people are disconnected and stuff, but that's for some other. Oh, we finally got a super chat. Look,
Mark T said for $2 books are just collector items now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I know a lot of people who like them. It's fascinating because some other people. Oh, we got a sponsor, Agile. Thank you.
Agile said, Stephen, I have since responded in Discord with topics for discussion. Yeah. Balls in your court.
All right. Sir. Yes, I will get in touch with you. I'm actually now have a little bit of free time. Things are finally settling down. But yeah, the books.
They're settling down temporarily before PAX Unplugged.
That's 3 weeks.
You got time.
Yeah. Well, now I do. It's so fun because I see some people take their physical books and mark them up with tabs. And this is funny because this is my own. I literally have an endless supply of my own books here if I wanted to use Jewel, but I just print out. Here's my own Jewel, my own books. I print out my own books and I mark them up on pieces of paper because I like to write all over them, and then also they're fast to get to. So this is how I do it. But everyone has their own system. But I do like to have the physical books just to have them. I like to look through them. And then I like to complain to everyone. Man, I got the new Draw Steel. I'm not going to do it, man. But I might do, maybe I'll do a Patreon of talking about the quality of this book.
He's talking about the paper quality, and like the way that it was printed and manufactured and created, by the way.
Talk about the manufacturing method of that book. It's fascinating. We'll leave it at that. So, what do you think of our digital future? And who's also very quietly going more heavily into digital? Paizo. And you and I know this because remember, like 2 years ago, they would not do anything digital. And boy, they didn't just jump in with both feet. They're like skinny dipping in that pool. Okay,
so Paizo has always done a decent amount of digital.
That's right. VTT I meant.
Okay, yeah, so I was going to
let me rephrase
They
that.
did a separate thing with VTTs, and it was specifically due to like licensing and monetization concerns with VTTs. And until Steven got this stuff working with Foundry, and I was able to supply some of the people within Paizo who wanted to do more VTTs with that data of how well Foundry does when you do it. That is what allowed them to convince and get that Foundry thing set up. And now they're very deeply in on that. They'd always been digital, but now they're doing...
No, you're right. They were one of the first people ever to go. They went more digital than anyone else. I think you
need to give them credit because they went
full
digital
credit.
before a lot of the other companies
they went all in. Someone asked for the weight. All right, so here. Okay, it is stitch bound. However, the paper weight, you see that? You can't go below 60-pound weight. If you go below 60-pound weight, you start to get the ink to go see-through. Do you see that? So on the other side, they have these marks. The paper is so thin that it's seeping through. That is literally the ink from the other side of the paper seeping through to the side.
So Stephen will maybe go more into detail for Patreon.
It's 50-pound weight.
So we had a super chat from Waters Leaf that said, let's not forget the Pathfinder MMO /sarcasm.
Yeah.
let us forget the Pathfinder MMO.
Yeah, let us forget that. Let us forget that. Yeah, we'll mention that. But the point is like, yeah, but look, they're doing a StarCraft video game, and they're doing stuff with
Starfinder.
Starfinder. Everything is craft stuff. You know what I'm saying.
The Starfinder video game
that looks great.
Kickstarter is doing well.
Well, it's also by Alcad. That thing is going to kick ass because Alcad is fantastic.
Wait, Starfinder Afterlight was by Alcad? I thought it was by someone else.
Starfinder video.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Alcad. Alcad is who used to do.
No, they do
the Pathfinder 1 stuff.
No, they did. Sorry, it's going to be done by.
It's done by Epic Tellers. Yes.
Oh no, sorry. It's done by someone new. Sorry.
It's not by Alcad.
All right, I made a mistake.
That's fine.
StarCraft Afterlife.
Starfinder.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's good. I mean, we'll find out. They're doing a really good job. I mean, it looks really nice. I mean, who knows? But
it looks cool. I don't know. We'll see. They have Dragons Demand coming out too.
Yeah.
Lonsberry Days is still putting out mods. It's the little indie one for Pathfinder 2. So
Edge Monk says hardcover books allowed to be 70-pound paper. Yeah, the problem is I believe Paizo does sometimes 60-pound, and that's the thinnest you can do. Not have it see through, but the problem is the thicker the paper, because that's literally what it weighs. The heavier the books, and the heavier the books, the more it costs to ship, more it costs to store. It adds up. I use 80-pound, and I use actually 80-pound gold stock, so it's not just 80-pound; it's like super 80-pound. So our books are crazy heavy and crazy thick.
I don't mind the thin paper in terms of the way it looks, but my main issue is the same thing that someone has in chat, where sometimes I feel like I rip them.
Yes.
If they go down to like 50, and then I feel bad that I ripped it, because it's like I was flipping through. I had to get to these other rules, and now it's torn.
Well, you can't use. I mean, you can use 50, but it's literally, it feels like a magazine, like the cheap Time magazines. Remember those? Like that. Like that's what that stuff is. It's like super thin, super cheap paper when you go that cheap. But to be fair, these books are 500 pages. And if you have, like, this book is 500 pages, my book is 400 pages, and look at the difference. Okay.
Yeah, imagine if Jewel was actually 500 pages, it would be like, it would just break everything.
Right. So this book is bigger than, the thinner book is bigger than the thick book. Because they use pages, because of the page quality, this paper quality. So,
yeah,
I'm doing a little tangent, but I'm just saying that's how you do. Yeah. Anyhow,
tune in to the Patreon for more page related stuff.
Maybe I'll go into that. People seem
back
to like
back to our main thesis is just that, like, everything is obscured in the digital age. You can't really see where the numbers are coming from. But even despite all of that, I'm still very confused by the investor report that said that D&D and Hasbro other games did not go up. And that they still had the great, like, how can it be the best lot, or even the, like, okay, I think the person in the chat may have been right. It was the fastest start because of a great pre-order thing, and the fact that the real release date was after the retail release date and the Gen Con release date and the other release date, and they may have been able to count all of those as day one sales or day -1 sales, and then be like, well, day one sales were the most because we had all these other releases. I don't know what they were doing. All of those are things that would be technically not a lie with saying that it was the fastest or the strongest start or whatever they said. But it becomes harder and harder to tell what's going on. We know BookScan isn't the whole picture. Obviously not.
Oh, no, definitely.
Like Steven said, it's illegal for them to just literally make something up that's not true. But it just means that it's the tip of an iceberg, and the rest of that iceberg is hidden underwater, and nobody knows what it is.
So my posit is that they've gone all in on digital. They already have. And they keep adding more and more. They keep adding a lot of third-party products. They're adding things from DM's Guild. They obviously make a ton of money on subscriptions. They're able to better track people. And best of all, and probably worst of all, if you go on D&D Beyond, you don't own anything. You're just renting it. So you don't even own your damn books. When you're off D&D Beyond, I'm like, I guess you're not playing D&D anymore. So you're stuck on it. You lock them in. It's called locking you into an ecosystem. That's sort of the big thing now. They want to, back in the day, remember when you would get a cell phone, and you had to use the same carrier if you wanted to keep your number. And that became such a problem that they literally made federal laws saying, no, you have to have the ability to transfer your number from one carrier to another. And if it wasn't for the federal law, let me tell you, they would have kept that forever, because why would they have any incentive to move you off of their ecosystem? None. There is no incentive. Walled gardens, closed ecosystems, there's lots of terminology for this. So by doing that, it allows you to change carriers. Well, right now, if they keep everything on their system and they make it that you can't export it or do anything with it, well, how do you play? In fact, I know so many people, and unfortunately, I'm kind of in the same boat now, is that if D&D Beyond is down, you can't play. Like, you literally can't play because everything you have is on that system.
Because, like, the Eels came and took it down when they were doing the update a few days ago. And I bet some people who weren't paying attention to the news, because it was pre-planned, it wasn't like it broke for no reason. They may have planned a game for that time that they just had to cancel when they realized D&D Beyond was down, right?
And the other day, like, we were playing on Foundry, and one of our players, they went down for a few minutes, and we just had to wait for them to come back. It's like, can't play. I mean, we could have played without him. Actually, yeah, that happened. So last week, AWS went down, and 1%, it was like 1/1,000,000th of 1% of AWS, which is Amazon. And like, everyone uses AWS. So like, every service in the world uses AWS. Netflix is on AWS. Like, all the video games are AWS. Like, they're just on there. So if AWS goes down, that's basically saying the internet will get down. And I know for a fact it affected us, because on that Monday, suddenly people were like, hey, I'm not getting emails for our codes for Foundry, because what we do is on our website, we sell the codes and then they're emailed to you. And I guarantee the email server that was sending out the codes must have been on AWS, because I got all these people saying I didn't get my emails. And I'm like, uh-oh, that ain't good. And then as soon as AWS came back, it went away. So that affected everyone. That was affecting a lot of people when that went down. So I like how Mark is laughing in Theater of the Mind. Mark's like, I need nothing. I don't even need dice. I just say, think of a number between 1 and 20.
No, we do need dice or some other random number generator.
Oh, I'm sure
Theater of the Mind uses dice. That's not what Theater of the Mind is.
I think what we could do is have everyone put a number behind their back and you count them up, or so. I don't know. We can figure out some crazy system.
Count them up, then divide it by 20 and take the remainder.
Right.
And Whatever that is.
That's how computers would do it. They take the remainder. That's a very common term.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Take the remainder and add 1
Right.
because you got 0 to 19.
Right.
And that's your D20 roll.
There you go. There you go.
I really don't recommend doing that.
No, because it won't be truly random, but it could work.
It would, theoretically, if you had enough people and they weren't collaborating.
Or we go back to the chit system where you just take 20 pieces of paper and drop them into a cup and pull one out.
Each would say 1 through 20. We actually used that to play test in alpha for Pathfinder 2, specifically because we did not want the way that like the fighter class to seem like it was stronger just because one guy rolled like 70 natural 20s or something like that.
My starter set, they didn't have dice. That's what they had. You ready? That's the chits.
Yep.
Those are the actual chit system right there. You would take this piece of paper, you would cut it up and put it in. That's how you roll the 20. Look at that. And look, this is 1 to 20. This is another 1 to 20. That's 1 to 4 right there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually tried, there's 1 to 8. There's 1 to 10, 2 1 to 10s, and 1 to 12 right down there. I actually cut this up and tried it out because they were laminated. When I was a kid, we tried to use it and they all stuck together and it didn't work. And we were disappointed. That's how old I am.
There you go.
I remember in my kitchen cutting them up and putting them in. I'm like, I can't pull them out. They're all stuck.
But did you have to walk 50 miles in the snow to get another one after you?
No, I rode my bike. I rode my bike in the
Okay.
snow. I was a big bike. I rode my bike to school. I rode my bike everywhere. I did ride my bike.
You were just the kids on bikes.
I was a kid. I told you, Stranger Things is my life. Like, except for the walkie-talkies, that was totally like that was just that they added.
Yeah. So Steven's like, listen,
one did that.
That weird psychic girl showed up. That happened. We went to the Upside Down. That happened.
Oh,
but
we
the
went to the Upside Down.
Come on, we didn't have walkie-talkies.
No,
man.
I went to the steam tunnels though. We used to go to the steam tunnels. We used to go to the Upside Down mall. I lived in the mall. Hell, the first game I ever came out with was called Mall Maniacs. That's how much I like the mall. I love the mall. It's very excited. Actually, it's fascinating. The new season of Stranger Things. Each episode is over 2 hours long. So it's 8 movies. I mean, that's insane. They basically are like, yeah, we're just releasing 8 movies. Season 5 episode lengths. Man, I just want to see lengths of Stranger Things. I keep hitting the wrong thing. Oh, actually, so the first episode is oh no, some of them are that. So okay, so
was the first one double length because it was the first one?
Volume 1 actual run times. Wait, I was looking for it. It was really long. Oh man, it won't let me go through. It's like it's basically watching movies, which makes sense because these things are pretty great. So the future of D&D, let's see. It's going to go all digital. It's already happened.
We can tell just from looking at where the numbers must have been coming in this, that digital was making a big impact.
And more importantly, they're putting out more and more products that are digital only, and they keep doing it. And the only way you would even know if you go on the site or you get emails. But it's sort of like on Netflix. It's like, if more people are going through D&D Beyond to get D&D, there will be a tipping point where more people are playing it online than actually not. So they'll just promote it on D&D Beyond. And that's the other thing. It's free. It's free for them to promote their own things on their own platforms, as opposed to going out and buying commercials or buying print ads or I could just go on and on. It's like the amount of cross synergies and cost savings for going digital is endless. And it is fascinating to see that they went from digital to maps, and maps was a runaway success, and maps was like almost a nothing. It was like a nothing burger. And now
I'm just shocked that the amount of digital sales of the new edition didn't push the D&D and other Hasbro games sales up this year compared to last year. That's what's shocking me. Because it must have sold a lot of digital. How did it not go up?
Because it's a subscription.
But like you subscribe, but then you also have to buy the books.
Not always. If you buy, you can buy the books, but you can. I think it works that way. Am I wrong, guys? Ask me. I think if you do a higher level tier, you get everything.
Okay, so I was pretty sure that you didn't, and so therefore I went on to the D&D Beyond site and it tried to sell me. It tried to sell me the different plans, and it told me that the master tier was going to give me character builder, encounter builder, early access, but that I still have to buy it, and it had an FAQ that said you still have to buy it. Okay. Monthly bonuses, and I can share my content with my friends and use maps. But then it had an FAQ that said, are any books included in my Master Tier subscription? It says books are not included at any subscription level. They must be purchased through the D&D Beyond Marketplace to access their digital features. However, the free rules are available to all players.
Got it. Okay, I did not know that.
So that means the subscription could not have been included as book sales. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I don't know.
Well, no, they still can, because they are. You know why? They specifically call out maps as leading people to use the D&D Beyond, because you need, the same way when we put out a Kickstarter, we always have to come up with a good 48, 72-hour incentive, right? Because you need to get people there. So maps is their 72-hour incentive, because maps is free. So they need to get people on there. And if they're making maps free, it doesn't cost them that much. It's easy to maintain. And it is you can use maps. And then it's sort of like the loss leader or the candy.
Oh, sure. No, Steven, I'm not surprised at all that if the answer is that they made tons of digital sales. I thought they would make tons of digital sales.
Oh, right.
The thing that is surprising me is their investor report that said that the D&D sales from January 1st to September, I think it was like 23rd or something like that, of 2024, and the same for 2025, were an almost identical amount of money when D&D was added to Hasbro other games, but not Magic the Gathering, which either means that D&D didn't change very much at all, or if D&D did go up a lot from the new edition, all the Hasbro other games went down by an equal amount.
Oh my God. Right? My problem with D&D Beyond is I don't know which account, because I have so many accounts. I don't want to sign into the wrong one. It's like sign in with Wizard, sign in with Apple, sign in with Google, or sign in with Twitch. And I'm like, I know I have an account, but I don't know which one I have an account with, by the way. Ugh. No, that's not the one I want. I can't even sign in because I don't even know which account I have.
Fair enough.
They do have.
I'm actually not asking about how it could get to there. I'm just asking
why didn't
it do better
I wanted to see
on
what
the
I
investor
bought.
report than what they reported to the investors. And
well,
the answer could be that some other non-D&D Hasbro game tanked. That could be the answer to that question. I don't know. We don't know. They're not breaking it up, so there's nothing
not breaking it up. They never. The only time they're going to break it up is when it does really well. So someone else, by the way, K-pop Demon Hunters. Let's go one step further, because I actually did this when we did stuff with Timon and Pumbaa and Disney and Nickelodeon. Is that you can get the voice actors really easy. It's easy to do. We could get animation, and then on D&D Beyond, we can get the voice actors to do taglines and sayings. And then when we have the VO, you can actually have it from the characters in the movie on D&D Beyond.
So you mean like when they're playing the game in maps and they use one of their special abilities, they have like the voice actor say their line.
They have because it's all about music. You have the music in D&D Beyond
that you would play in the background when things come up.
And of course you'll have a battle during a concert, because of course you will.
You need to have a battle during a concert.
Of course. That's like I would say you need 3 battles minimum. And
for each concert?
No. 3 battles in 3 different concerts, different types of concerts.
No, that makes sense.
Bare minimum is 3. And of course, the final battle will have music all over the place, of course.
Obviously.
By the way, speaking of battles and conferences, I've been meaning to tell you this. I know you're a big fan of Hades, Mark, you and Linda.
Yeah.
Hades 2. I bought it, I think, 2 days ago. I might have like 50 hours in this thing already in like 2 days. I mean,
wait, there aren't not 50 hours in 2 days.
I know. I'm kidding. Dude, this game is, you have to buy it. It is 10 out of 10 out of 10.
Did you play Hades 1?
Yes, this is 1,000 times better than Hades 1. I thought Hades 1 was fine. This is perfection. It is so...
Why is it 1,000 times better than Hades 1? Hades 1 was good.
They I don't want to ruin it because there's some big surprises in the game. The second battle is during a concert, and you have to take out the lead singer. It's fantastic. You take out the lead singer attacks you, the guitarist and the drummer all attack you at the same time. So you have to take them out 3 at a time, all at the same time. It's such a good battle. It's so well done. And they're singing and the music changes depending on who you take out. I'm just sitting there. I'm so distracted because I'm battling you, but I want to hear the song. I want to hear the music. It's so good. I can't spoil it, but just trust me. It's like $20. I rarely get addicted to things because I just don't.
Yeah, you've mentioned you play it. You're like, that's the loop. All right, I'm done.
I get it. I can't stop, man. I can't stop. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, we'll definitely get it eventually, for sure.
I'll say how many hours. Actually, I'm curious now. I've been meaning to tell you. I bought it on a whim because everyone won't stop talking about how good it is. And then I'm like,
Well, I mean, Hades 1 was very good, so I figured the sequel would also be
I didn't really
very
love
good.
Hades 2. Hades 1. I know you guys
Why didn't you like it? It had good music. It had good gameplay. The story was good.
Yeah, it's very good. The problem with Hades, the first one, is that I felt the progression was a little slow and clunky.
It can be a little slow. Especially if you're not good at it, then it's very slow.
Perfect. They got the one more game because they give you just enough like every time. I'm like, oh wait, okay, I gotta do one more. Okay, I gotta do one more. Okay, I want to do one more. Okay, I want to do one more. Okay, I'm like, stop
You have to stop, Steven. You have to stop.
You know what,
though? You know what? I got a lot of work done the last 2 days. So if Hades 2 was the reason why you weren't doing meetings with me about something else that caused me to do less work, thank you, Hades 2. You really helped the Battlezoo.
I played it. Okay. I played it 10 hours, but for me, that's a lot. 10 hours in 2 days.
A pretty high amount. It is less than 50. It's less concerning for me about your health than 50 in 2 days.
That's a lot. It's
a lot.
I play maybe an hour a night
during the week.
Well,
especially on weekdays. Like on the weekend, that's not that much. I could have do that on a weekend if I really have time. Now, Waters Leaf asked a question to us with a $5 super chat that says, I'm stressed out that my Paizo, Battlezoo, Classes Plus PDF, and Path Builder JSONs are hard to get all in one place and kept up to date. Do you have any tips for that, Steven, as the all-in digital guy?
All right.
And you've had to make all these kinds of solutions before from your company. So how does Waters Leaf and Agile Monk, who said that was a good question, how did they do that?
Okay.
How do they organize it?
For Battlezoo, the way I do it is that originally we were actually on multiple platforms. So one of the problems is that BackerKit we used to actually distribute our products through BackerKit. So now I have a digital platform on Battlezoo.com. And if you just make an account, all your downloads are there forever. And I always keep them up to date constantly. We're constantly up to dating them. And you'll get an email whenever they're up to date. And so if you back a Kickstarter, we give you a coupon code to redeem all your digital products in Battlezoo. And that's to do it. So some people complain because they're like, oh, I don't want to redeem it. I'm like, yeah, but it's all in one place and it's there forever. So that's how we do it, is that we keep all of our stuff in one location. Paizo, well, they do the exact same thing. It's that if you buy anything, they put it on Paizo.com. So that's how we do it. The Path Builder files and the Path JSONs are on Battlezoo as well. And I actually broke those out. I used to combine them with the PDFs, but now I break everything out. In fact, I just broke it out. I just broke out Classic Creatures over the weekend because I realized Classic Creatures was actually bundled with the PDF. So I actually broke that out over the weekend. So I've been doing my best to try to keep everything as broken out and separate as possible. But otherwise, I have several folders on my desktop, and I have those folders backed up to Dropbox. So I always have it backed up. And actually, by having a Dropbox, I put all my PDFs organized on those folders to Dropbox. By putting it on Dropbox, I can then open up and get my PDFs on anything I want. I actually sync Dropbox with my phone, so I can then look at PDFs whenever I want on my phone, on any computer, on any iPad, anywhere. So that's the strongest I would recommend, is just put all your PDFs on a Dropbox or Apple Cloud type account where you can then access it anywhere you want. Also, I just moved to a new computer, and it was really easy to move to a new computer because everything's on the cloud. If you listen to Mike on Sly Flourish, he has the 3-2-1 system where he goes crazy because he's like, he backs up his backups and then puts his backup on an external drive, and like he does a lot of backups. I don't go that far. I don't actually have, like, I used to do physical backups. I'm not too worried about Dropbox going out of business. I'll leave it at that. It's like, yes, Dropbox could go out of business, and Dropbox could close down, and AWS can go out of business or go down. However, the other thing you can do is you can tell Dropbox to, quote, leave a local copy on your machine. So say you don't have access to the internet and you're like, oh crap, I can't get my PDFs. Well, I actually still have them on my local machine. So if the internet goes down, I still have access to them. And I don't have the exact same solution. Believe it or not, this is a 2 terabyte USB. 2 terabyte. And look at it, even has it has a small, this is the USB mini and the USB macro. This thing can hold every PDF I've ever had since the beginning and the end of time. Okay. So I do have an offline solution. I don't even use a hard drive. I just use this. This is my offline solution. So there you go. That's what I do. A lot of people like to buy things at drive-thru because then they have everything in one location. The problem with drive-thru is that they take 35% of our cut. So, I do put things in drive-thru and we try to keep them up to date, but it's hard to keep things always up to date on drive-thru. And more importantly, they take a big cut. So, and they don't give us access. They basically don't give you access to any. I don't know how many people bought it. I don't know who they are. I don't have access to their emails. Like, it is a very closed system. And I put things on there, but that's like, it's an afterthought. I'd rather you come on our system because that way you're always up to date and I have complete control over.
And for all the reasons that we stated earlier, that Wizards wants everybody on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to be a dick.
No,
I'm just trying to keep it in one location.
They're not trying to be jerks completely to want people to be on it. It's just, it is better for them. And so I think every company wants to have people use their site, and ours isn't a subscription fee. You don't lose access to your stuff.
Okay, so someone actually said we should have a NAS. We should have a NAS system and each other's offsite back up each other, much cheaper than the cloud. Actually, it's not cheaper than the cloud. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I had a NAS and it was RAID. It's the one where you have one drive go bad. Well, guess what? This happened to me. It's happened about 10 years ago. One day, I had 5 drives, and if one drive goes bad, you're still okay. I had 2 drives go bad on me. I had 2 drives at the same time, which is in theory impossible. Well, guess what? It happened to me. I actually had 2 drives go bad. And if you have 2 drives go bad, you lose your data. RAID 1. I had it go bad. It happened. I couldn't believe it. So that's when I went to all cloud because I said, screw that. I was like, and in fact, I got rid of it. It's actually sitting in the corner over there because I then went to RAID 2. That's where if you have to have 2 drives go bad, or sorry, RAID 5. Yeah, I went to RAID 5, but it was really slow and you lose so much data at the time. I have 20 terabytes of M5 memory on my computer, and it's done locally. And I also back it up to my laptop, and I back it up to my phone, and I back it up to this, and it's on the cloud. I'm okay. So I'm okay with that stuff. So, oh, by the way, and all the things we have, I also have backed up to my FTP server. So I have multiple locations. I'm not too worried. So yeah, as the saying goes, RAID is not a backup. Yeah, RAID. I was all in. Sorry, I was all in on RAID for a long time until that happened to me, and I was like stunned when it happened. I didn't lose anything because I had backups of backups, but after that, I just and I don't actually think it's cheaper because I had 5 2-terabyte hard drives, and that thing cost me over $1,000 at the time. You know, this is like over 10 years ago, and nowadays you can buy 10 terabytes for pennies. You know, so I don't know. I'm not as big of a RAID person as I probably should be. Anyhow, how do you back up, Mark? I feel like I'm the only one talking.
I mean, just on the cloud.
he's like, I do it on the cloud. Okay, that's how Mark and I work. By the way, is we work through Dropbox.
We have stuff on Dropbox. Linda has a Dropbox that I sometimes use for a few files. A lot of my things are on a Google Drive. Although recently, because like a few of my people in Gmail, like family members, sent way too many photographs, I was getting close to the limit on that. So I had to delete some old photographs that were sent to me. But other than that, it holds a lot of the stuff I need.
I do that.
It all kind of works out.
I have to delete stuff. Yeah. Also, I have a pro account, and it's a little expensive, but I get 9 terabytes to back up on Dropbox, and 9 terabytes is more than enough. Let me tell you, at least for now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and we use it. That's the other thing. It's like I have it as a business expense. I think it's different if you're personal. I can see that. It's like, oh, who wants to spend whatever it costs? You know, a couple $100 a year. I don't understand that because you spend. I always tell people that because a lot of people. So probably the most asked question of me is, I need to buy a new computer. Can you help me, Steve? I get that all the time. I always say to you, I'm like, how much time do you spend on your computer? And they will be like, oh, I don't know. And then there's actually ways to look, and you'll look and you say, okay, you spend 50 hours a week on your computer, you know, or some insane number. It's like you're spending more time awake on your computer than you are sleeping. You should go for the best computer possible. They're like, I don't want to cheat. You know, I'm like, look, what's an extra couple $100? Like, just go for the best thing possible, man. Don't go for a crappy computer. You're spending so much time on it. Like, you might as well go for the best possible. And no one ever says, oops, I shouldn't have spent that money to make my computer as fast as possible.
I mean, I don't know. If it's a couple $100, I'd say go for it if you're getting a new computer.
Yeah.
The best possible, though, is usually the one where it's like, well, now I did that, but I can get one that's even better, but it costs another $1,000
No.
and only marginally better.
That.
That's where you stop. Instead of the best possible, you get that slightly nicer one that's a little bit more expensive.
No, but people will say, oh, well, the $500 computer versus the $1,000 computer, because it's 100% more. I said, yeah, but that $500 computer is garbage. You know, so it's like, you know, I'm not saying go from
it's tricky though,
a 3,000 to a 5,000.
I also agree that you're going to be better off with the 1,000, but some people can't like if you're even considering a $500 computer, you probably might not be able to afford a $1,000.
Oh no, these people could easily afford these computers.
Well, then they should be getting the $1,000 computer. They just don't see it
as necessary. These are people with $100,000 cars. You know, I'm like, come on, people. Okay, you're spending $500 on your computer.
That's a poor decision on where to place their finances then, if that's the case.
Yes. Someone asked me how much I would spend on a computer. You don't want to know. Let me be this way. My computer has an i9 of 5090. There's a 5090, 20 terabytes of M5, an i9 processor, the max RAM.
Oh yeah, the max RAM. I'll just say this. It's not that much more expensive to get the max RAM. I don't even know why they don't always give you the max RAM.
Yeah.
If you are on a budget and you are building or your computer or getting it from somewhere else and you can select multiple options and you're only going to do one upgrade to the baseline option, it always should be the max RAM.
Oh yeah. Always
in my opinion, because like not having the max RAM is going to mess you up way before any of the other specs.
No, max RAM is always the cheapest thing to get.
It's cheap and it's really effective.
Yeah,
maybe if you're not like me and you close every program and every tab, maybe you could get away with it. But why even stress?
Yeah, it has. Of course, it has LED lights. It has all that fun stuff. I actually did get it before the tariffs because they're all going to go way up. Everything's going up. It actually costs less. Well, the 5090 was the main thing because nowadays what they're doing is the processors are actually kind of maxed out. What they're doing is all these programs are offsetting the processing to the video cards. And that's actually a huge deal. That's like a big sneaky way to get around processing power. So all the Adobe apps now, they will use your graphics card instead of your processor to do the graphics rendering. They actually offset it. It even tells you in the top when it's doing it. And there's a huge savings. And like, I mean, I'm in InDesign all day and in Photoshop all day. And it was really my old computer. I just couldn't take it anymore. It was taking forever. And now it's back to, if it's not instant, I can't stand it. And it was not even close to instant. So, yeah, I just bought it about 6 weeks ago. I just got it. And I think I was swimming in a swimming pool and I was on my phone. I was at my friend's house and it was like it was the last weekend of summer type thing. And I was on the phone and I was looking at the Dells and I saw it was on sale for it was like $2,000 off. And I was like, no. And I bought it on my iPhone on Saturday and it showed up at my house on Tuesday. That's like, we live in the future, my friend. It's so crazy. The worst part is that they said it was going to come on Wednesday. I think I said this on the show already. But then then I got an email saying it showed up on Tuesday. It said, we delivered your computer. And I was like, what? And I went outside and it wasn't there. And I was really worried. I'm like, oh no, did they deliver it to the wrong house? But then I saw they put it in the driveway because the thing weighed 100 pounds. It's a 100-pound computer. And I was like, I didn't even know how I was going to get it in. I could barely lift it. It's not even that it's heavy. It's like this big. It's a full size. And the case is pure metal. This thing is bulletproof. And I mean really bulletproof. And I barely
You can use
got
your computer next time if one of the FBI's most wanted comes to your door.
I can't pick it up. Plus, it was taking up so much room. I actually tucked it in. It's way under. It's so far under my desk. Is that you want to hear something funny? I bought this computer. No one in my family even knows I bought the computer because they never saw it because it's hidden under the desk. No one is that one person.
It's a secret.
It's
to
a
your
secret.
Family.
But I'll tell you how bad my family is. Do you see these bookcases? Remember when I used to have one bookcase?
Yes.
Well, I added more. No one noticed.
Well, this is your man cave. Nobody intrudes.
No, they see me all the time. People walk by, but they're like, does anyone notice I added more bookcases? They're like, nobody even said are there more books there? I was like, did you notice I added more? I used to have one.
They're
now
just
I have
not
4.
paying attention to you. Even if a man in a gorilla suit was walking along behind you, they would be like, oh, okay.
Oh, drop my phone in the pool, losing 1/5 of my data in the backup plan. Buddy, waterproof. I take my phone and I would put it in the pool to cool it down because if you're outside, your phone gets overheated, it turns off. So I take it, I put it in the pool to cool it down. And then everyone's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. They're totally waterproof. They're fine. They actually are. I just cool it off. Doesn't matter. They are. They're water resistant. They don't call them waterproof because waterproof is legally something distinct, but you can put them in the water. They're fine.
Most of the phone is going to be fine, but your charging port is not necessarily going to be happy.
Believe it or not, it actually has a little fan and it gets rid of the water. Believe it or not.
I've seen situations where someone tried to do that and it was, and you put it in to charge later and it's like, watch out. It's not charging correctly.
It's water.
You probably got water in there and it would electrocute you.
Yes.
But then eventually it dries off and then it works.
There is a little thing in here.
There's
a little thing that will get rid of the water. So what you do is that you take it. I usually take it and I get the water out. Or or your phone spent, well, I have an iPhone. So you spent 30 seconds in a wave pool and it died. Yeah, I don't know. I had an iPhone 1 that fell in the pool. Well, it didn't fall in the pool. Actually, I don't want to talk about that. That was a bad day. But I went into the pool with my iPhone 1, and that did not work. But actually, it did clean up. By the way, I never put it in rice because rice will actually destroy your phone. That's a myth because rice has it expands, and on top of that, rice has little particles, and the particles will get in your phone and mess it up. Instead, you take those desiccants and you put it in a desiccant bag. That will get rid of the water. Any other tech questions? I'm here for all your tech questions. So ask me and Mark here at Tech Quest or Tech Zoo. What do we call our tech channel? Battle Tech. Here we are at Battle.
Since it's already, I think that's already a thing.
I think that one's taken. That would be a good one. How about Battlezoo? Oh, that's taken. What about Tech Zoo? Text us and email your questions or use your pagers for the Tech Zoo. And you too can find out all about all the technology questions. I do wonder how it is when normal people live, because I had my wife's like, I had to print out labels for her. And I was like, what would you do if I wasn't here? Like, and there's so many times I have to go and like, I had to like reconfigure images for a slideshow for work. And she's trying to do stuff. I'm like, how do normal people survive? Like, I don't know. I don't know how anyone, if you're not like technologically savvy, it must be horrible. Yes. That's what someone said, the dry silica gel. Yeah, that's what you use. The
way that they survive is that they ask their Stephen Glicker for the answer to how to do things.
Can you get in trouble if you back up your book PDFs on a shared drive? There's a piracy if they take a peek. So you are breaking the law. If I went down, I could probably name 10 ways you're breaking the law right now without even realizing it. There's so many things you do every day that is theoretically breaking the law. So if you put a PDF on a shared drive, yes, in theory, because if someone else has access to it, yeah. But are you sharing your passwords with anyone? Because that's breaking the law. You're not allowed to do that. I forgot. There's so many other laws. That's one of my favorite YouTube channels I always like to watch. It's like 10 laws you're breaking down and don't realize. And it's always these like things you just never think of ever. That's just like, are you using this table salt? Well, that's against the law. Like, because salt is like this and that. I'm like, really? And no one cares. There's a lot of these laws. If buying isn't owning, the piracy isn't theft. Yeah, that's actually very popular. Is that if you can't buy it and you can't own it, then you can't pirate it. But unfortunately, the billion and trillion dollar companies are very good at convincing the companies. Otherwise, they don't really go after you now for that unless you're making money off of it.
Well, it's like Neutromancer said, right? The greatest trick is to make everything illegal, then ignore the illegal things that people you like are doing.
Right. Or what you do is that as long as you're not making money off of it, they don't care. That's the thing, is that if you are doing it and sharing within your own family, that is fine usually. If you're sharing it in a public place at like a college, you will probably get in trouble. And if you're sharing it and charging for it, then you'll definitely get in trouble. So that's a big no-no. So, all right, well, I think we talked that one to death. Do you have anything you're doing? Except for Nintendo cares.
Anything I'm doing in terms of
fun gaming stuff?
Fun games. I finished. You were right that Persona 5 Royal took a really long time, even after I got to the point that was the prologue. And I did finish it like the other week. So
did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I enjoyed it.
I have to play music. Persona 4.
It had good music as usual.
Did you play Persona 4?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
I didn't just pick up Persona 5.
Did you play Persona 3?
We talked about how I played them when the other day on one of these episodes when you asked me what license would you get if you could get a license for something,
Wait, did you play Persona 3? I don't know if you played. Did you play?
I played some of Persona 3, but I never finished it.
They're remastering it.
I heard that. I'm considering playing the remaster of it. Mm-hmm. I have to admit that after playing with Persona 5's fusion mechanics, where you can actually friggin' pick the thing that the resulting Persona has, I was thinking, I enjoyed Persona 5. Maybe I should go back and play 3 again. But I was like, I don't know if I want to go back to having to spend 30 minutes fusing this Persona until it has the skill that I want.
No, they're going to remaster it, and I guarantee they're going to have all the new mechanics and life quality of life in there. I guarantee. Did you play the Fortuna game? That's that one called Ars Fortuna. I forgot the name of it. It's basically, you guys know what I'm talking about.
I don't. I'm guessing just based on the fact that it's a Persona game, Metaphor Refantasio, but you didn't say any of the correct words in it.
I didn't say any of the correct words. I'm completely wrong, and you still got it because that's exactly.
You just said did you play that? And
it's
yes,
a terrible name. It is basically Persona. It is Persona in every way.
It is literally.
It's Persona. It's Persona. I played it.
If you didn't have to go capture the different personas and instead had different class archetypes that you could switch between on your characters, it's got the Persona spells. It's got a Persona S system. Yeah, I've played that too. I played it before Persona 5. I would say that the main dungeons in Persona 5 I think were better, but the side dungeons in Metaphor Refantasio were 1,000 times better than Mementos. I really did not like Mementos for the fact that it was so important to do it for an extremely long period of time to get all of the stamps. And it would always be well, crap, I have to go to Mementos. This weekend is going to be taken up in Mementos. I'm not going to be able to do anything else in the game.
Someone actually did say it's like renting a VCR in the old days. You did not own. Actually, yeah. So that was actually a big. That went to the Supreme Court. So if you ever rented a movie on a VCR and the FBI warning came up, and if you ever spent time to read it, it actually says that you do not own the movie and you have no rights to the movie whatsoever. And all they're doing is giving you a limited license where you can own the ability to watch the movie on this tape in your house in a very limited capacity. And it's very, very fascinating because even when you quote bought and owned movies, because people are like, oh, physical media, you want physical media so you can own your stuff. Yeah, you don't even own those. Those aren't even yours. So if something happened to them, they could, in theory, I don't know if it's perpetual, the license, but they could get rid of it. That was fascinating because
you own this VCR and this videotape, but you cannot watch it anymore. We got rid of the license. We hired the Hasbro lawyers who said that we could get rid of the OGL to get rid of your license to watch this VHS tape.
Well, the problem is that if it wasn't for that law, the VCR, like Blockbuster and Netflix wouldn't even exist because they did not want people to rent movies. They thought it was it would obviously, they thought, how can they make money off of them? Because that's why movies used to be $100. And back then that's like $500. So if you bought a videotape, it would be hundreds of dollars. And then Blockbuster would buy them and then rent them out. And because they're like, well, how many people want them? And then they realized, wait a second, why don't we go the other way? Why don't we make them like $10 and then everyone can buy them and then we make way more money? And then they went the other way and they realized, oh, this is a much smarter idea. You know what we call that? I've told you this term before. You know what that's called in the biz? It's called kicking and screaming to the money tree. That's what we literally call that. It's called kicking and screaming to the money tree. They're like it's like, we don't want VCRs. They're like, no, don't give us more money. It's such a terrible. And they fight VCRs tooth and nail. The companies, they go to the Supreme Court. That is how much they didn't want VCRs and VHS tapes. And then they make more money than God on them. And then they don't want DVDs. How dare they rent things on DVDs? They're too perfect. They're digital copies. People can make perfect copies on it. Then they make more money in DVDs. It's like they're constantly complaining about making more money. It is fascinating to see this happen time and time again. Incredible. Kicking and screaming to the money tree. That's what we call that. Well, anyhow, we do have a couple of fun things since we have a little bit of time. Do you want to tell people a little bit about Year of Mysteries, and then we will
Sure.
go?
If you haven't been checking it out, we just released a new one today that some of the people in the Year of Mysteries chat on the discord.rollforcombat.com were saying that they really liked. You can go to puzzles rollforcombat.com.
Right.
And Steven just put it up there in the stream elements thing if you look up in the chat. And there's been a puzzle every week. You can go back to the other ones. It's like the 8th one or something like that.
We're up to the 8th
and
one.
So each one is a different style of puzzle, and they each unlock information about a new ancestry. So I think that's pretty cool. People have been having a ton of fun with it so far. And the Year of Mysteries, I think, is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty excited about that for sure.
Well, if we just announced the mushies.
Yeah, the mushies.
The mushies.
The little mushroom guys.
Yeah. See that one? He's a cook. He's a chef. Look at that, the mushy chef, and he's got a hat on his hat. He's got a hat on his head. Look at that. It's so silly, right by Mark.
And the one that was like underneath us at one point when you put up like the earnings reports.
Oh yeah.
Was like a bard who had like drums, like drum things in his hands because he was based on the drum cap. That is one of the Battlezoo mushroom monsters.
Yeah. So yeah, every week we have this, and we're gonna have a puzzle, and then here's the puzzle, and you can just download the PDF if you, because it can be hard to see. So that's what I do. I actually just download and print the PDF, and then I write on the paper, and then you submit it. And you can also look at the past puzzles. You can see all the past ones.
You can see where you are on the
And there's a
leaderboard.
leaderboard.
It keeps track.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 people who are in our chat who are Chronos, Misty, and Bullish Bat, and they often, but not always, take first and second place. And so they'll be like, aha, I got it this time. Or, oh, I was able to figure it out faster this time.
So the good news is after we go through and we have all these puzzles to reveal all the new ancestries, we're going to still have puzzles for the Year of Mysteries every month. We're going to have more puzzles.
I've heard a little bit from our puzzlers that they have a potential idea for what they're going to do for that, but they haven't locked it in yet for sure. They haven't made sure it would work, but that it might be even more different than this, where this is just all of them are all over the place, but it might be like an evolving thing where the puzzles have some similarity, but then you have to keep learning more as the months go along, if they can make that work. So we'll see how that that happens. I'm really excited about it. I like puzzles, and I like adding them in to the game. I hope people are excited about that. And yeah, coming forward, I've been working on some of the things for the first few months for Year of Mysteries, and they're really cool. I'm also kind of excited about the April Fool's thing we're going to be doing for next year that Steven came up with. That's going to be pretty fun too.
Screenshot of the passwords. There are no passwords. I don't know what you're talking about. The real Narrowmancer.
Maybe the correct answers.
I don't have the correct answers on this. This is just no. There are no correct. This is. I'm just looking at the same site you guys look at. So there's nothing to see. I don't even know the answers. I have to look them up. I see. I
have to solve them. In fact, Steven's one of our best test solvers because he usually doesn't do these kinds of puzzles.
I suck at these.
He doesn't do them, and so he'll find things that other people who do a lot of puzzles would have assumed was obvious that a lot of people who are solving the puzzle would not know. So he's an excellent puzzle play tester.
Yes, I constantly write Mark. I'm like, Mark, I have no idea what's going on.
And that helps because then we can explain and clarify the parts that he has trouble with. It's great. You want playtesters who have trouble and who are willing to admit that they do, because so many people either don't or they do, but they won't tell you. But they're like, no, I was fine. I did it in 10 minutes. It actually took them 2 hours or whatever.
No, I can't. I mean, I actually do like puzzles. I used to do them a lot as a kid, but the puzzles have evolved, and I get it. Like, I know them. The problem is you guys are all too close to it, and they're so close that they write these instructions, and they make sense if you know what the puzzle is. But for someone like me, who's like, I literally don't even know what I'm supposed to do, and then after I know what I'm supposed to do, then I'm like, okay, the instructions made sense now, but it's too late. I kind of had to know what I'm supposed to do, and then I want the instructions.
Some of these are new kinds of puzzles I've never seen before.
I've never seen
Linda and I
ever.
can still always figure it out from their instructions just because we know what these kind of puzzles are like. If you really want to get frustrated and tear your hair out because of unclear instructions or no instructions, just do an MIT mystery hunt. Compared to that, these instructions feel like they're
I
holding
know,
our
but
hand.
I'm not trying to make people work.
Oh,
I'm
100%.
We're
That's
trying to
why
make this
I love
fun.
getting your feedback, Steven. You make things better for us because we're not doing a mystery hunt.
No, right. No. I agree. It's like if you're doing if you want this, like on the scale of 1 to 10, the puzzle can be anywhere from 1 to 10 in difficulty, but the instructions have to be a 0. The instructions have to be, I say it has to be the same level as the New York Times puzzle section. That's where it has to be. If it's any harder than that, then it's too hard. Simple as
Whereas
that.
in an MIT mystery hunt, the instructions can sometimes be like a 9 or a 10.
Oh yeah.
And the puzzle is actually easier once you figure out what the heck you're actually supposed to do.
I've heard of the mystery. I've heard of the.
It varies. Some of them do have very explicit instructions, and then the puzzle itself is hard. And some of them are a little easier, but just time consuming. And that way you can hand off things to the right people because you have a big team.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. And then we have the year. I mean, I've told people the Eldamon Legends.
Eldamon Legends is going to be exciting. More expansions for the existing elements. Legendary Eldamon that are unique.
Yes.
And a few more powers, special items for Eldamon users and elemental avatars because they didn't have their own items just for them.
Oh,
they could use other people's items, but they wanted items just for them. They're based on your elements.
I kind of want
more world lore so that you can understand and like put them into your world, like what's going on with them.
We actually definitely need it because what's happening with the elemental avatar is that he constantly, especially when he runs out of things to do, because he does this thing for 2 actions and then he has nothing to do with the 3rd action, and he could do an attack. But actually, since most of his abilities don't use the attack keyword, it's like, wow, he could attack at the full,
If he takes out the very damaging 1st level ability that does have the attack, then yes, you can make a build where you can shoot a bow or something like that. Or you even use a melee weapon as your extra attack.
He's been in it. Well, he has the bubble stuff, and it doesn't have the attack keyword on the bubble ones.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is a good choice. Raising up your elemental shield is a good choice.
He does that too.
Trust me, I'm playing 2 elemental avatars. I never run out of the 3rd action. I usually don't have enough actions to do the 3rd actions that I want to do.
They didn't like recharging because we finally had a long fight. The first time ever, because most of our fights have been lasting like 1 round, and we
they had refreshed. Yeah,
and they're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "You got to refresh." They're like, what do you mean I got to refresh? I'm like, "Can't just go forever." And they're all like,
"Yeah, there's some balance, right? You can't just be this powerful without
but
something."
Then they did their physical attack because then I'm like, "Well, you're still doing something." And actually, the bubble swarm or whatever it's called,
that
refresh,
pushes or either pushes or pulls. It's good. Yeah, the refreshes are not a dead turn. They just aren't big damaging turns. Yeah, the refreshes are meant to still be able to do something fun. Yeah. They just aren't going to do damage, right?
Yeah. No, I was stunned how good it was.
Air's refresh actually lets you move 3 times.
Well, right now
that's
we've only
one
had
of my avatars is Air.
We've only had 1 Eldamon up at a time, so we haven't switched Eldamon yet. So for the Eldamon trainer, he had the fire Eldamon up, and damn, that thing did a lot. That thing nuked everything from orbit.
My other avatar is fire. She does well unless the enemies are resistant to fire, or if she misses with some of her big hits.
I will say the last game was brutal because we had the 1st level fighter. He has 24 hit points, right? 24, and he was up against the Leshy.
Was it the venomous stake dead?
No, it was before. It was before the venomous. It was so he's being attacked by. He's flanked by 2 undead, the Leshy husks, and he attacks and he misses, and he's like, great. And then I attack. My first attack, crit, and they're like, oh, and so I crit him. He gets hit. I do 22 points of damage. He's down to 2. He went from 24 to 2. He does his save on the blight thing, whatever it is. 1 critical failure. He's like, great. And then I'm like, well, I had bad news for you. That was the first attack. And then I do the second attack, 20. And then they're like, oh.
Man, you got lucky. My group killed those Leshy husks immediately.
Oh, well, no.
The thing that was the hardest for them, weirdly,
well, then they kept exploding.
It wasn't even that. They killed those guys. They exploded. They didn't care. They even killed the venomous snake dead. They didn't care. The thing that was the hardest for them is they didn't want to kill the Thiolodon because they knew it was just.
They haven't gotten into it. But
they knew it was just, it wasn't their enemy. And that thing was angry and it hit them for a lot of damage before they could calm it down.
That thing was a level 3. That thing will mess them up.
Yes, thing, they were like, whoa, this is like the only thing in this entire area that was dangerous.
Here was the problem. He dropped and he was at dying 2. And then 2 of the Leshy Husks were right next to him because they're flanking him.
Oh no! So their death explosion.
They were
even
both
if they died,
they were at 2 hit points. And then Chris is up, the healer. He's like, I'm gonna kill them. I'm like, Chris, you might want to heal him. And he's like, I don't want to heal. I'm like, you might want to heal him. I said, you might want to bring him up. He said,
I guess if he had hero points, he could have spent them.
No, he was out of hero points.
Ooh.
He used 2 in that fight.
He almost died.
I know. I was already thinking, I'm like, well, I wonder what his next character is going to be. I was like, you're going to die because if that goes off, and I was like, they're at 2 hit points.
If that goes off, I think that he's not guaranteed to die, but almost.
Almost. Well, he healed him. He got him 6 hit points. Well, he did an AoE heal. So did you know they changed it in remaster that the 3-action AoE heal both heals and damages at the same time?
That is the same.
Oh, was it always that?
Now, keep in mind that Leshy Husks are not undead.
I know, and they got healed, but then he got angry and he said, "You said they were undead," and I said, "Okay, I screwed up because I thought they had the undead trait. They actually don't.
They're not.
They're not.
No, that's why I said that.
Yeah,
everyone thinks that they have the undead trait.
They didn't. So I gave it to them. I said, "Fine, they don't heal." That was a mistake on my side.
Steven?
I messed up.
Do you know what I was doing at the same time that you were fighting those Leshy Husks on Monday?
What?
I was playing a Paizo Adventure Path for the Frozen Flame, and we were fighting a Dryad Husk from Battlezoo Bestiary, literally at the same time.
And I said to them,
it also wasn't undead. And the GM was like, "It's not undead." I was like, "Yes, this is a commonly asked question." But
I screwed that one up, and because it was my fault, I did not penalize him. I said, because I'm like, they get healed too. He's like, "No, they don't." I go, "Actually, okay, you're right. They don't. I screwed up. I'm not hurting them, but I'm not healing them either." So, and I said, "Trust me, you don't want them to get hurt because they would have exploded, and that would have been bad." So he healed up. Then they both exploded, but they only did 1 and 2 hit points of damage, so he didn't die. So everyone was fine.
Phew.
I know. I was already going. I'm like,
I bet the people who were watching it were having a lot of fun just with that ridiculous fight.
It was they were kind of stunned. I was like, they killed the undead in 2 hits. The undead didn't even get to go. That's how fast they were killed.
Oh, I thought you didn't go to the place with the undead, the ship.
No, it starts with 2. There's 2 Leshy Husks and 2 skeletons.
There were skeletons there. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And there's also a snake pit.
Yeah,
if you know anything about what I told you about my group, it's that Linda's Eldamon trainer with 10 dexterity fell into every pit trap that exists.
Well, you know what happened now? The elemental avatar went first, and he attacked them and then pushed them. He did a critical failure, and he got pushed into the snake pit.
The enemy?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then they heard screaming. They're like, "Get him out! Get him out!" And then they ran to the snake pit and saw what's his name? Emberflame, not Emberflame. Ignatius Barkley was in there.
Ignatius Barkley. He's Nash. He's one of like the yes. Isn't he one of the iconics?
Yes, he's one of the iconics, and he was in there. And they just killed him they literally walked over and shot the Lusk, but then it exploded, and they're like, "Uh-oh, good job!" And they're like, "Great!" And I was like, "Okay, that was a real fight," because they took care of the pirates so fast that wasn't even a fight. That they actually, I told you, they spent 3 rounds trying to use maneuvers to do the battle at the top, and then the last time he kept trying to like move him, and then was doing reposition and trying to wrestle him, and he was trying to do so many things. I said, "Dude, just attack him." He goes, "Fine," and then he critted him with 1 hit and knocked him out. And I was like, he actually did he did exactly enough hit points to bring him down to 0. So he's like, "Is he dead?" I'm like, "Nah, he's knocked out. He's fine." And then they had dinner with him, and they were all friends after that. So actually the Eldamon killed 1 guy, so that didn't count. And one of the pirates used their scream and accidentally killed their own pirate using a scream. So So they're like, oops, well, yeah, I didn't kill that guy either. They're like, well, the Elderman killed one and your own guy killed the other. So technically we didn't do anything. It's like, technically we didn't kill anyone. So,
and to tie this all back in, it's just to the actual theme of the episode. It's like in corporate speak where they can say, technically, this was the strongest launch ever or any of these other things because it was by some metric in the same way as the Elderman killed someone, but none of the 4 characters in Steven's group did.
Nope, they did not. They did not kill anyone. And the pirate captain was nice enough to give them the gear. Said, hey, man, pirate code, you get to keep all their stuff, and just gave it to them. And they're like, yay. So actually it worked out pretty well. But now they're fighting something for real. It is going really slow because all these are classes. We've been playing the same classes. I was talking to
like
these guys.
3 years or something like that, right?
6 years.
6 years. It was longer than I thought.
And because of that, we are so like, it's like we're playing a fighter, a cleric, an avatar, and a trainer. All new. It's like we wouldn't even know. It's like new spells.
I bet the cleric is causing
all new spells.
Because of all the spells.
The fighter is Seth. Seth is doing everything except, I know Seth. He's doing everything except fighting. Like, he's like, I take out my bolo and I trip him. And then I do this and I do that and I do that. I'm like,
all right, so
just hit him with the goddamn sword, man. Just do it.
No, Steven, I have to say, Ebola is a very pro move to have for if you fight against flying monsters.
I know, but he
at
missed.
Low levels.
I know.
Because of the fact that it's one of the only good ways for a strength-based character to use their strength to screw around with the flying monster, because if you succeed on a ranged trip against a flying monster, it falls when you get it around it in the bola. So
that's true.
That is actually a good item to have.
Except for the problem is that he's like, okay, I take out my sword, I move, I raise my shield and attack. And I go, dude, that's 4 moves. He goes, no, it's not. I had my sword out. I'm like, you can't have your sword, your shield, and the bola out at the same time.
That's
it's like,
correct.
why not?
I'm like, decide what his starting loadout is.
I'm like, no. And he goes, that's the problem. He said, action economy, you can't use, like, the good news is you have 100 weapons because he has so many weapons. He's level 1 and he got every weapon he can find. And I'm like, good, you have every weapon. You need an action to just put it in your hand. And then he's like, crap.
He'd have to leave off on raising his shield
that's what he did. He's like, fine. Because I draw my sword and I move attack. Yeah. I say, that's fine. I said, but you can't. He's like, why can't I put it? And I'm like, I'm not going. We're not. It's not realistic. We're not doing. What could I do? It's the game, my friend. It's like,
Steven, that's exactly why my elemental avatar always has to worry about that third action. Because I could always raise my shield, but I could also do a medicine. Because I have battle medicine, and I can heal for a lot with it. And I could also command my mount, because I'm riding on a riding goat around with my fire elemental avatar. And so that can help me get more movement. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to do.
Yeah, no, but it's fascinating because they haven't played these. So he has to learn the fighter. Chris is learning all the spells, and he's doing, and he has to heal, which he does not like doing. So he's basically yelling at everyone to stay close. He's like, if you want to be healed, you better be near me, and you better be doing your bit. The elemental avatar has taken the Elderman trainer took 1 point of damage all the fights. He's been fine because the Elderman.
He took all the damage dealt to his Elderman.
No, the Elderman took
only
1 point.
one.
Well, that's it.
Whoa.
Well, because the fighter,
lucky because those Elderman have low hit points.
I know, but they've been in range because they all like have reach, so he's not going into their faces.
Well, almost none of them have reach on their melee starting level 1 power except for fire.
Well, he used fire, and fire has the cone.
Is he only used fire?
He used the cone.
A lot of them have cones, but if you want to use both of your powers and use
the fights never went past more than 1 round, so they would use 1 cone, and then that was it.
Fair enough. If the fights were always 1 round, then he could just use his range AoE ability. Oh, he actually did have him. He then used the fire, and then he did use it. Actually, he did the other attack with the. He did the fire whip. That's a reach of 10 feet. But if you're anything other than fire, then the equivalent is a reach of 5 only.
Yeah, no, he had 10 feet, so he was enough distance. And then he refreshed, and then by then it was over. And only got 1 point of damage because of the explosion, because of the undead, because the thing exploded.
Oh wow! He's doing well with positioning because the weakness of the Eldamon trainer class is actually burst damage.
Correct.
Will almost always drop your Eldamon.
It hasn't happened yet. Like we haven't happened. I mean, the longest fight we had was like 4 rounds.
No, that's fair.
And obviously they just the only fights they had the fights with in the first round, those 2 little guys, and they killed them in 2 hits. There literally was bam, bam. Okay, that fight's over. And then they actually snuck through the entire pirates and fought the main guy, and that was easy because they weren't fighting each other. They started to fight each other, but then they really were doing more like crowd suppression. They weren't really trying to kill anyone. They were just trying to make them stop attacking. And now they're in an actual fight. Now they're like real fights that we'll finally get to see. So
cool.
All right.
So, well, it seems like we've covered the topic. Hopefully you enjoyed the business analysis, and we only mostly went off on these big tangents near the end. So take care, everyone. And until next time, if you want to battle the zoo, you have to roll for combat with record-breaking sales.
I wish.
There are a lot of mysteries in life. Who ate all my snacks? Why are women not impressed by my juggling? And what's a unique ancestry that I can bring to my next TTRPG game night? The answer to those questions are, I ate my snacks. They are impressed, but you should have a wide variety of hobbies and interests. And you can find unique ancestries with Battlezoo and their Year of Mysteries. Every month in 2026, Battlezoo delivers a fresh, bizarre, and lovingly unhinged ancestry straight to your inbox. Get ready to spice up your D&D or Pathfinder game faster than a wizard's bad life choices. Why settle for elves again when you can play as 13 unique and bizarre ancestries, such as a grumpy Sasquatch, a sea serpent with anger issues, or a dinosaur person, a guy ceratops, a girl-velociraptor, a human Saurus Rex. You don't have to use any of these names, but you do get to play as a dinosaur with a great sword, and that seems awesome.
But Jack, this is the Year of Mysteries, so let's get mysterious. With each new ancestry, every month you'll also find a puzzle. Solve each and input the solution at Battlezoo.com to slowly reveal the year-long secret and become a seeker of mysteries. There's a leaderboard for puzzle solvers, and if you solve all 12, you'll earn a free prize as you unlock the final truth, as well as one last secret you can add to your games. What could it be? The color of my underpants?
Mine have pictures of fish on them. Head on over to yearofmysteries.com and start uncovering the clues today.
I can juggle for a long time.